Afternoons from 3 to 6. It's time to get up and get your day started.
Get up! Get up!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
It is time to get up, but then again, anybody listening's already up. If I'm asking you to get up, that means you're sleeping, so you can't hear me to get the hell up, right? So that's kind of a problem we have here. You guys are up already. You're ready to get your Wednesday going. So are we. We welcome you in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham, and a cast of thousands here. We're broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. At Family Leisure, they're getting you set for the summer, which officially begins this Sunday. Right now, they're getting you ready for the ultimate pool party with deals on in-ground pools and above-ground pools, in-stock patio furniture, all types of great deals. Just check them out online and go visit them at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. 70 degrees currently. It's going to get up to 92 today. The humidity starts to creep back up. It's going to be a little breezy. Then tonight, breezy with partly cloudy skies. And again, humid tonight. A rainstorm or shower is possible, but it should be another lovely day for the most part. We've had the last couple of days really, really nice after the weekend storms, but tomorrow we do have some thunderstorms in the forecast. Temperature will be at 87, 84 for the high on Friday, so it comes down a little bit, and the weekend looks to be very, very nice. So with the weekend being nice, you head downtown, maybe go see a Redbirds game, maybe you go downtown to have dinner at one of the fine restaurants that we have in Memphis. We'll make it a nightcap. Make it a night to remember as you stop off at Old Dominick Distillery and the Distillery Bar for that nightcap. Maybe you take a tour of the distillery, Old Dominick Distillery, the first hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. And we are so pleased and happy and thankful to have them on. They produce delicious Tennessee whiskey, bourbon whiskey, Honeybell citrus vodka, Formula 10 gin. You can find out more about them by going online at olddominick.com. Read about their history. Swing by for a pregame cocktail, or as I said, cap off your night with a great nightcap award-winning craft spirit or one of the local beers at the Old Dominick Distillery Bar. Cheers to Memphis, Old Dominick Distillery, coming for the spirit. You come for the spirits, you stay for the experience. And don't forget Thursdays, happy hour, 4 to 7. It's great. $7 cocktails made with signature spirits, $4 local beers at Old Dominick Distillery. Coming up on the program today, kind of a strange day yesterday in the world of sports. We had some unbelievable individual performances, including one right here in Memphis that we'll tell you about. On the world stage, it was the World Cup, and Eli will be a happy young man today because there were no ties. In fact, there were some great individual performances yesterday at the World Cup. The U.S. Open is one day away from getting underway at Shinnecock, and it's going to be a challenge for the best golfers in the world. We got new news involving Brendan Sorsby. No, he's not going to change his mind again. He's going to get ready for the NFL supplemental draft, but we'll give you some details on when he's going to be out there showcasing his goods for NFL teams. We also got the Ringers Top 100 NBA players. Do any of the Grizzlies make that list? And we'll talk some college football and strength of schedule for the upcoming season, including where the Memphis Tigers stand. And yesterday I was over at the press conference with Dr. Ed Scott talking about all the changes and where they stand with the renovations to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We'll give you some information on that tomorrow, by the way. We're going to have the project executive for the MFA program arrangement. He's the construction overseer of everything that's going on. We're going to have Austin White on the show at 7:25 to explain to you in detail what exactly you'll see when you step into Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium this fall. DeMichael Cole will join us at 8:05 to talk Grizzlies, his latest projections for the NBA draft next week. Lawrence Dockery, his weekly visit to talk World Cup. And then at 9:30, Matt Infield, who's on his way to New York for the Knicks ticker tape parade. Of course, you know Matt from Action News 5. He'll join us to talk about that and all kinds of other things as well. That's your lineup for today. You can hit us up via the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. You can call in or you can text in. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on today?
Well, you are right. I am happy that there were winners and losers yesterday in the World Cup.
There certainly were. There was actually a lot of goals scored. 4 matches. The goals went like this: 4, 5, 3, 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah, they're
Pretty good.
bringing some offense, and the big names stood out. They did their thing.
They really did stand out. Speaking of big names, Jay Ham's with us as he is every day. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you, fellas?
I'm doing good. Are you? Is it some kind of not a hangover, would be the opposite, kind of a letdown now that there's no NBA games, the season is done. Are you okay?
Oh, I was looking forward to that period. I look forward to the hiatus so I can just kind of chill, let it bubble back up, watch some other stuff, watch some documentaries, some stuff that I didn't get a chance to catch up on because I'm watching 6-7 basketball games tonight.
Right. Plus, it's not without stuff coming up. We do have a lot of NBA.
A lot of NBA stuff still hanging in the balance. I was looking at some free agency stuff. I caught an interesting note that we can get into a little bit later that Mark Stein, I caught on the Mark Stein podcast.
Yeah, we got free agency. We got the draft next week. We already got the discussions going on publicly, privately. So there's a lot of things happening. The LeBron James situation, a little bit more information from Brian Windhorst on his future. So we'll get to that a little bit later on. But I wanted to start with these individual performances. But before we talk about the World Cup that Eli brought up, how about right here in Memphis at AutoZone Park, by the way, where they're playing baseball, not pickleball. And the Redbirds are one of the best teams in all of minor league baseball. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. But last night they returned home for their final series of the first half of the year, and they have a chance to win the first half in the International League. Joshua Baez, Eli Savoy, as I'm sure you know, hit not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 home runs last night as the Redbirds won. He now has 22 for the season.
Yeah, he is leading the International League, sets the franchise record with the 4 home runs, and mashing the ball all year long. And big win for the Redbirds as well, as they try and wrap up that first half title. Very, very good night down at AutoZone Park for the Redbirds.
Look, we're big fans of Ben Johnson, and I think he's done a great, great job. The pride of Germantown. He's their skipper. For those who don't know, he's been there a long time now. And we just, we're fans of what's going on with Ben and these players. A number of these players have already been called up to the Cardinals, and they're producing. Blaze Johnson had another RBI double yesterday for the Cardinals. But this Baez guy, I don't know what his, I'm sure he's on the 40. I got to think that before too long, they bring this guy up. So you got Weatherholt, you got Crooks, you have Blaze Jordan. And then you have other guys who at one time played in Memphis, the Lars Nootbaars of the world and others that they have on this team. You have Mason Wynn. Now on the Redbirds, you have Victor Scott. I'm not sure, is Gorman playing? I know he was sent down. Know. I didn't look at the box score. I just know that Baez went crazy. But this Baez, 4 home runs, 22 on the season, as you said, leading the International League. He becomes the 3rd minor league player this decade to hit 4 home runs in a game. And don't ask me for the other 2. He is the Cardinals' number 3 prospect. So before too long, I'm sure this guy will find his way north on 55 all the way up to St. Louis. But congratulations to Joshua Baez with 4 dingers last night. What a way to start the final homestand of the first half of the season. So you had that locally. But nationally and internationally, it was all about these individual performances at the World Cup. You mentioned the big names. First of all, the day started with France beating Senegal 3-1. Mbappe with 2 goals. They like to call that a brace.
Yeah, I learned that term yesterday. I did not know that was a thing, and I kept seeing that he had a brace, and I thought it meant like he was wearing a brace, like he did this with an injury. And I was like, how about that? He's wearing a brace and scoring goals. But no, why would it be called a brace?
I have no idea. I don't know the history of it, but I think I learned that last year. And I've played soccer and watched
Maybe
soccer.
Lawrence can answer that question for us.
Lawrence
today.
could. Yeah, he definitely can answer that. Okay, so you had Argentina and Algeria. So
do they throw braces onto the field? Like,
I hope
if you're
not.
wearing like a knee brace, you take it off and throw it onto the field when a guy gets a second goal.
neck brace, you just
I mean, it's like everything, just braces of all kinds come out there.
out of your teeth.
Yeah, I mean, you can take them off your teeth,
Kids
throw
are
them out
throwing,
there, whatever.
teenagers are throwing braces out. Oh my gosh, I don't know. We'll find out the evolution of that term. So you had Argentina, the defending champions, and some dude named Messi. I think you've heard of him. Not one, not two, but three. A hat trick for Messi. Natural hat trick because the only 3 goals scored in the game were scored by Messi. So Mbappe, one of the biggest names in the world in soccer. Messi, we know how big his name is. Today you'll have Cristiano Ronaldo playing for Portugal. You'll have Harry Kane playing for England. So things will start to wretched up a little bit, but Messi was unbelievable. Did you watch any of that?
I did not, but I did see that he had the hat trick. Is he considered right now still to be the best? Like, is he currently the best soccer player in the world?
Another question for Lawrence. I would probably say no. I mean, he's up there in age. So is Ronaldo. But you see what he's doing. But I could be wrong. There's some young studs. There's the kid on, is it Spain? Who just had the 0-0 draw. Again, questions for Lawrence. He'll join us at 8:30. But Messi still plays great, plays for Miami, Inter Miami in the MLS. You had Norway beat Iraq 4-1. Norway was a huge underdog. And I'm looking at that. I know nothing about either team, but I watched this story about Erling Haaland, this star for Norway. He looks like a Viking. He looks like what you would think.
I did see a little bit of that one. I saw a brief, and I saw that dude score a goal.
Yeah,
big dude.
He had a brace. He had 2 goals. But Norway was a big underdog.
He had a man bun, I think, too.
He had a man bun.
If I'm not mistaken. Man bun and a brace.
He did have a man bun. And Iraq was a real heavy favorite. And so I went ahead and I said, you know what? Let me throw a few dollars on Norway to at least tie because of this story I saw on this Haaland guy. He looks fierce. Maybe they'll get a tie. And it was good odds. And they ended up winning 4-1. So if I just played them to win. And then the last game, the last match, I didn't watch at all. But Austria beat Jordan 3-1. And they're making a big deal about Jordan scoring a goal. So I don't know how good Jordan is, but they're good enough to be in the World Cup. So those were the 4 yesterday. A lot of goals, big names, all wins. Eli's a happy camper.
That's the way it should be done. 4 wins and 4 losses. We have four games in a day. We should have 4 winners and 4 losers.
So again, individual performances in soccer in the World Cup and right here in Memphis with the Redbirds and Joshua Baez hitting his 4 dingers. Okay, so yesterday afternoon, I spent about 90 minutes over at the University of Memphis where Dr. Ed Scott, the athletics director, had a presser to update everybody on what's going on with Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Now, I was over at the stadium on Friday. Unfortunately, I couldn't couldn't do the walkthrough because we ended up having bad storms. But I got all the pictures and the video, and we saw some of that yesterday at this presser. But that's why Austin White's going to be on tomorrow to talk to everybody about the stadium because there's people with still a lot of questions. But I asked Dr. Scott in the presser where they stood with season tickets and with suites. He said on the new West Side, 74% of the tickets are sold. That includes the plaza area, which the seats below, people can go to the plaza, or anybody that's up there in any of the suites can go into the plaza. Then he talked about a wristband that they're going to have, and he doesn't know the price yet. And it's a certain amount of people. It's a set amount of people that will probably fluctuate depending on the fire marshal, but that they're going to sell also to people to be a part of that plaza. But regular tickets and any other areas in the stadium, you can't just go into the plaza. But he talked about 74% is sold. So with suites and with people sitting in the seats that are connected to the plaza, pretty good. Pretty good. So 74%. Overall, he didn't give numbers on season tickets, but again, with Memphis, as he pointed out, they do a lot of sales the week of the games. And even though I'm sure there's the curiosity, I think the sales will start to pick up as the summer goes along. I don't think they're going to break any kind of record for season tickets. A lot of people like to go week to week, see how the team's going, see how the team's playing. But overall, I think they're extremely happy with what's happening with the suites. Now, I'm not going to get into all the details because, again, we'll have Austin White on tomorrow morning at 7:25. But there is new scoreboards at both ends. The big one is going to look a lot bigger because they've done things, and it's a new one that's in, and just really incredible. The other side, where the tunnel's going in, which is awesome now because you can get the 18-wheelers in for the concerts and all that, it will be a brand new scoreboard as well. It'll be basically the same size, though. But talk about the pixels and all that, just the highest end technology. So it's going to be great. And then they're going to have the ribbons on both sides. East and West, you'll see the ribbons, which will have the scores and updates and all that. But on these video boards now, you're going to see highlights. You're going to see other games highlights. Whatever they can show, they're going to show. It's just not going to be, as Dr. Scott said, me out on the field presenting a football to somebody. So that's cool. And then the sound. They showed where all the speakers are. It's going to be 360 sense around sound where it's not going to be too loud on one end and not loud enough on the other. So the sights, the viewing, the sound, everything is so enhanced at this stadium. The tunnel, which is huge, on the east side where we do the broadcast from. I'm on the field, but this is where the broadcasts are the broadcast team. So Wolo would be up there. They've now gotten rid of the, I don't even know what you call it, the slots in between the windows that were orangey red. They're gone. So it's all glass. So it's going to be very nice for people that are in suites over on that side. And then all the media that's there as well. They are sealing, like everywhere in the stadium, they're sealing. So when you walk in the concourse it happens to be a rainy game and there's the leaks, there will be no more leaks. They're completely like whitewashing it, cleaning up that whole area. They're taking out all the chair backs and they're, again, not only cleaning the area, but they're also, where they're putting them in tighter, securing them. It's going to look like, as Dr. Scott said, it's going to look like a new stadium. Now, I'm sure there's additions to the concourse. There's going to be a lot of painting going on. We're going to see that nice blue paint for Memphis. As far as the food and the beverage and all that stuff, it's going to be new vendors. They didn't really talk specifics yet about that, but he did say that they've talked to a bunch of vendors, and he told them it's no deal unless you can come up with a $7 value meal for people. So people who take their family, say a family of 5, they're paying $35 to get a hot dog or chicken strips, fries or chips, and a drink. And I think that's great. Dr. Scott he knows the market. He learned that in like 2 seconds, what they're trying to do. They're trying to get people in because most of the money that's brought in is 20% of people, right? It's the same big donors that they're going to. They're trying to get everybody else to buy tickets, to go to games. And you want to enhance that experience by making it affordable. I don't know about the parking. I know the parking is going to change a lot because now most of the people, again, especially the high rent district, are going to be on the west side. So they're going to make that parking over there for them. I don't know all the layout as far as parking is concerned. I don't think Tiger Lane's affected by anything, but you could always check by going to their website, Go Tigers Go, by emailing somebody over at the school, by stopping by the ticket office and finding out more information. But we're going to have a media tour, Dr. Scott said, after the 4th of July, after the holiday. He's teaching up at the University of Washington for a week. He says every summer he does a week of teaching, and he says he loves doing that. I had no idea he does those type of things, but he's going to the University of Washington for a week to teach, and then he'll be back and we'll take the tour. But everything looks great. And as far as on time, on budget, he said he added things. He added the scoreboard. He added the ribbon, and they didn't go up in cost. I don't know how they figured it out, but they did. And somebody asked about what the capacity will be. The capacity will be 45,632.
Hopefully they can fill that.
That would be fantastic. But I would think the curiosity from people will give them pretty nice crowds, I think, to open the season. Again, the first game at home is after that UNLV game in Vegas, and that's against Arkansas State. Arkansas State will bring over a few people, but hopefully the Memphis crowd will be huge, like you said. Sell it out, make a statement, and see where this team goes, because there's a lot of expectations now with Charles Huff, and he's at the top of leading those battle cries of expectations.
Well, first of all, a couple of things. I'm happy to hear that for the plaza, that the other people will have that ability to purchase an add-on and be able to, because I think the plaza is a cool thing. I think it will be a cool thing, but it's not just limited to the people over on that side, and other people can purchase that add-on to their tickets. And we'll see what that cost ends up being, but at least have the option to do that and the ability to do that and go enjoy that plaza, which I think, again, will be pretty cool. And if they can end up doing some sort of $7 meal, that's fantastic. That's great for families. As he talked about, if you've got, 2 or 3 kids you're bringing to a game, it's nice to have a cheap food option.
Yeah, it's not highway robbery that we see.
And that, hopefully that leads to more families, more kids. You'll get kids out there, get them to fall in love with Tiger football, and hopefully you earn a fan for life. And if you've got cheap options for them to be able to, for parents to be able to feed their kids at games, maybe they can come to more than, maybe it's a family that used to go to 1 game because that's all they could afford. Now you get them out there for 2 or 3 games, or a family that used to go to 2 or 3 now can go to all the games, and because they can afford it. So I think that would be absolutely fantastic if they can come up with a way to make a $7 meal for those families.
If there are any questions or you want to make some comments about that, you can. When we return, we'll take your calls and texts on the Cincy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. I'll do my best to answer questions from what I heard at the presser. But again, tomorrow, I would advise you, if you want more information about the stadium, to tune in at 7:25 for Austin White, who will give us an update on everything that is going on. When we come back, more on the Tigers football season and the strength of schedule for the Tigers and some other teams from around the country, including the American Conference, when we return. Again, hour 1 of the program is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery, producing Tennessee whiskey, bourbon whiskey, Honeybell citrus vodka, Formula 10 gin, doing it right there at their downtown location, 305 South Front Street. The Distillery Bar is a great place to have a cocktail or two before an event, after an event. And also, you can find out more about them at OldDominick.com. They list all their whiskeys and spirits, and they also list all their signature cocktails and instructions on how you can make them at home using Old Dominick spirits. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show?
No!
Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get America's best-backed vehicles with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. All remaining 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross and 2025 Mitsubishi Outlanders, now $6,000 off MSRP. 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport ES with standard super all-wheel control, buy for $27,105 or $349 per month. Plus, 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander ES, standard 7-seat capacity versus 5 5-seat Nissan Rogue and Honda CR-V. Buy for $30,310 or $399 a month. Plus, Tennessee residents get an additional $1,000 off all 26 Outlander sports. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1956 Covington Pike. Online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
84 months at 5.99 APR. Outlander TZO 2861. MSRP 32810. Sport TU 1012038. MSRP 28985. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, file, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Taking the kayaks out on the lake, hot dogs on the grill, and your sister's boyfriend pulling out his acoustic guitar.
Everyone quiet! Harrison's playing. Wow, you're so good, Harrison.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Five-Ash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A couple of accidents out here getting some attention. It's just building where you would expect coming westbound I-40, passing Germantown Parkway all the way down to Sycamore View Road. As you come off the interstate there onto Sam Cooper coming inbound, hitting some of those traffic lights there up by Perkins. Hey, don't let a slipping transmission make things worse on your car or truck. Listen, if you're having transmission problems of any kind, even if your light comes on, let them check it out at Amco Transmissions today. 2 locations to serve you here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Yesterday online, it's the upcoming college football season strength of schedule for all the teams using the simple win-loss method. Which is evaluating schedules from the year prior and evaluating the difficulty, looking at wins and losses. So obviously, if you're playing teams that last year had great records, then it's going to make your schedule more difficult. Doesn't mean, and it doesn't take into effect, the changes with rosters. We got ever-changing rosters, so things are a lot different, coaching changes. But this is strictly teams on your schedule this year that are coming off the season they had last year. And obviously, the better the record, the tougher your schedule. The University of Memphis is listed at number 31, or actually tied for the 31st hardest schedule in the country. And again, they don't play any Power 4 opponents, but on the road at UNLV, on the road at Boise State, 2 of the better programs in the group of 6. And then you play what is a very competitive American Conference. You could argue about basketball, but football is very solid. I'm not comparing it to the Power 4, but it is a very solid conference, and they are tied for 31. That puts them 5th in the American, actually tied for 5th in the American. Again, according to the win-loss method, Charlotte is number 20 overall in the country, Division 1A football. Rice, number 23. UTSA, number 28. And Temple is tied with Memphis, 31st hardest schedule for the 2026 season. So, powers within the conference, better programs within the conference, I guess I should say. Tulane, Navy, South Florida, Army, they're all with easier schedules.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, that's always been tough way to judge a schedule. It's even more tough now because of rosters are not nearly the same, especially when you're talking about the non-power conferences, because these teams lose so many guys in the offseason, especially their better guys. Trying to judge a team based off of the last year's record is far from accurate.
Oh, I agree. Brendan Sorsby will throw, according to reports, at a special pro day on July 10th. Here are the odds to land Brendan Sorsby. Of course, he has to still withdraw from college after being given the approval from the judge. He still has to now withdraw, showing that his eligibility is done, and now he's able to apply for the NFL supplemental draft, and the NFL will allow him to be in that draft. I don't see any hiccups. And then the odds that I saw yesterday, we were talking about it, and these are teams that we brought up. Odds to land Sorsby. The Jets 3-1, Cardinals 5-1. Those were the two that we brought up as probably the top teams. Then they had the Dolphins at 6-1, the Steelers at 7-1, which I do not see at all, and then the Falcons at 8-1. Those were the top 5 as far as odds to land Sorsby. Where will he land? And again, this is something that you brought up. I agreed with you. We both said third round. Third round, 3-1. So it's the favorite. And then undrafted is 7-2, just behind third round. I don't see any way in hell that guy goes through the supplemental draft and is not taken.
Yeah, I certainly would. I would be surprised, really surprised, if nobody drafted him, because there will be teams who certainly you would put in a 5th or a 6th round, I would think.
You'd be foolish not to.
Those teams are all basically teams that right now don't have their quarterback of the future. And so if you have a chance to get a guy who could be that, and it ends up only being like I said, a 5th or 6th round pick, something like that, certainly you would put that in. Like the Steelers I don't know why they wouldn't put in a 5th round or something like that to take the chance of, okay, if nobody does put in anything higher, yeah, we'll certainly take him and see if he could be the quarterback of the future.
Yeah, it makes sense to take a flyer on this guy. I'm listening now to experts who break down his game better than I do, and they like him a lot. He could be a really good player at the next level. All I know is he played at Cincinnati. He did a good job, and it was good enough for Texas Tech to give them the money they did. That's what we've seen from Sorsby.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. But there will be. I don't know how teams will look at the gambling part of this, the issue, the glaring issue there. If they'll care, if they'll just assume that, okay, he's done his treatment, he's over this, he understands that this is just something that can't be done. I have no idea if there will be teams that will be completely turned off by that and say we don't want any part of that. But some of these teams with the way the NFL looks at the quarterback position, and for the number of teams out there that right now don't really have a quarterback of the future, I would certainly think that they will at least take a swing on a mid to late pick to try and steal him.
I agree, but I think he's going to go no later than the third round. I really do feel that way. Sure, there could be a team or two that doesn't even want to get into the Sorsby business. They don't want anything to do with him. But those that are intrigued, especially those who really need a quarterback for the future, they will not only be looking at him throw, the interviews are going to be pivotal to really get into the mind, if it's possible, of Brendan Sorsby. They are definitely going to use those interviews not just as a throwaway, something to really hopefully learn more about the guy who, again, admittingly so, had a big gambling problem and went to get that, at least it's almost impossible to say fixed, completely fixed, but to deal with it by going to wherever he did, whatever clinic he did, to try to help them in that sense. It's just like others who have gone away for alcohol, for drugs, and they go to the clinics and they consider themselves still alcoholics, but hopefully those times away, Tiger's done it, those times away will help them mentally focus on really where they need to be in their life. The NFL and NFL Players Association has come out in favor of the Protect College Sports Act. I don't think that's a surprise, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference when it comes to the vote, which is apparently they're still doing things. They still haven't completed the bill. There's still some tweaks, but it's going to move forward. And we'll see what kind of support it gets. As you mentioned yesterday, more than likely, approval from Senate and then falls short in the Congress? Is that what you said?
People believe that it's certainly got a better chance of getting through the Senate than it does through the House. It has
through the House, right?
It has to get the Senate Commerce Committee. They have to get a majority of that to move it on to an actual vote to get to basically the floor of Congress. It's got to get 15 of the 28 from the Senate Commerce Committee approval.
And that should happen. That should happen.
I assume so. I have no idea.
I mean, if that doesn't happen, boy, oh boy.
Then it goes to the Senate. It would have to get 60 votes there. And then it goes to the House, and the House is just a simple majority. No percentage. It just has to be a majority vote. Tommy Tuberville spoke out against it yesterday, talked about
his act.
He's got a student athlete act, which all that is his is just addressing the 5 for 5 and one-time transfer and basically nothing else. Like that's this is the things we need. We don't need all of this other stuff. So he's clearly not in support of the Protect College Sports Act. I don't know how much approval it has from others, all that stuff, but he is definitely not in favor of the Protect College Sports Act.
CD is dialed in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. You can follow CD at 901-360-8255. Good morning, CD.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me get back to this quarterback situation.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see how I phrase the question to you guys. If he was already in the NFL and admitted to gambling, what is the NFL punishment for him being suspended from the league, to your knowledge? And if it is a lengthy sentence, then why wouldn't a team, let's say Pittsburgh, for example, say we'll put in a 6th-round pick, knowing that in a certain length of time he'll be our quarterback based on the skill set that people say about him that he might have been a second quarterback pick. So how long is the suspension? And then which other team other than Pittsburgh you think would take a flyer on him? Thanks for taking my call. I'd like to hear all three of y'all on that. Thank you.
Thank you, CD. Well, we mentioned some of the teams that I think are certainly in line to try to find a quarterback that could be a franchise quarterback. I don't know if Sorsby will be, but we mentioned the odds earlier. Right now, the favorites are the Jets, the Cardinals, the Dolphins, the Falcons. They're all possibilities.
I don't know what I assume. Now, if he was in the NFL and gambling on his team's games, I assume that is probably a lifetime ban. I don't know. We've had NFL players suspended for gambling on other things. I don't believe anybody's ever been caught gambling on their own games in the NFL. But you had like Jamison Williams got suspended. And, now they have the things of you can gamble as long as it's not in the team facility. I think if you're caught doing it in the team facility, it's like a 2-game suspension, something like that.
Here it is. Here's the suspension.
But if he was caught gambling on his own team's games, I assume it's a lifetime ban.
Betting on NFL games, minimum 1-year suspension. Betting on own team, indefinite, but minimum 2-year suspension. Attempted fixing, permanent ban. Inside info, proxy betting, minimum 1-year suspension. Non-NFL betting at facility, 2 games for first offense, 6 games for second, 1 year plus for third offense. So it ranges in severity depending on whether or not you bet on your team, whether or not you help people prosper from fixing or attempting to fix a game. So there's a lot of things that come into play. But as far as Sorsby, as far as I know, he goes into the NFL with a clean slate. Okay? Now, again, teams have the prerogative to be interested in picking him in the supplemental draft or skipping over it. They'll get to a team, they'll say, what do you want to do? No. Then they go to the next team. Then they go to the next team. Then the next team. Then they go to the next round. Then they go to the next round. But
no, that's not all. The team just puts in like.
Oh, they put in a bid?
We would say they say they do a lottery. They do an interesting, weird lottery that they group teams together based on if you didn't win, if you won like 5 games or fewer, you're in a lottery. And then
it's not the team that had the number 1 pick.
Teams that won 6 games through but didn't make the playoffs are in a lottery. And then there's it's a weird way to.
How do they determine if there's several teams from that pack?
And then they have an order because you do a lottery. And so then, a team says we'll put in a 3rd round bid. And if you're the highest 3rd round bid, you get him and give up a 3rd round pick. If nobody puts it in, somebody else puts in a 5th round pick and that's the highest pick, then he goes in the 5th round.
Okay. So if the Jets and the Browns, just use the Browns, for example, they're not going after him, but Jets and the Browns both put in for 3rd round.
Whoever was higher whoever has the higher pick.
That's what I'm saying. So it goes back to where they drafted.
No, it had this lottery. There's a lottery that is done amongst the teams, but they're put in different groups of this lottery.
That is strange.
That determines the order for this.
That is strange. But to answer CD's question, it's a clean slate for Sorsby when he goes to the NFL. It's not like
maybe, I don't know.
No,
we don't know that.
There's no. He's already got a penalty from what happened at that other level.
The NFL could. They did it to Terrell Pryor. I mean, they've done it in the past. They have suspended guys. They gave a suspension for somebody that who did something that had nothing to do with the NFL. I mean, the NFL could hand down a suspension to him if they chose to.
I don't see it. I don't see that happening. I see him once he's drafted by the NFL team, and he's going to be drafted by the NFL team. He goes in, I think, with a clean slate. I could be wrong. He goes in with a clean slate, and obviously they're gambling. Sorry, use that terminology, but they are. They're taking a chance on a guy who has a problem. Whether or not it's a problem that's going to continue, if it does, it's going to be the end of his career, and it's going to be a waste of a pick for a team. But that's the chance you take. When anybody that you bring in any sport that has a checkered background, whether it be drinking, gambling, drugs, whatever the case may be, or injury prone, guys that have been injured, that's always a gamble. Now, you never know what will happen once they get to the league. Guy could be squeaky clean, and all of a sudden he becomes the worst dude in the world. Or a guy who has never had an injury or seemingly never had one, like Zach Edey at Purdue, and then comes to the NBA with the Grizzlies and has already had a couple of major injuries. So you never know. It's always a crapshoot. But there is going to be a team that will take Sorsby. I just mentioned some of those teams that are the best odds or the highest to get him, or the favorites, if you will. If you want to put it in that terminology. And somebody's taking him. I don't think they're taking him in the first. I wouldn't be shocked if they took him in the second, but I think it's going to be in the third round.
The 3 tiers for the lottery that they do for the supplemental draft. There are tier 1 is teams with 6 or fewer wins. Tier 2 is the remaining non-playoff teams, and tier 3 is teams that made the postseason. Then there is a weighted lottery within each of the tiers. So, like the old NBA system, if you have the worst record last year, you have better odds to get the better pick in the lottery. It is a weighted lottery, but you are divided into 3 tiers, and then there's a lottery to determine the order within each of those tiers.
That seems extremely complicated. To me, I would continue what they had in April in the NFL draft with that order and give that team that finished last and had the first pick the opportunity at first to take Sorsby. If they pass on him, go to the next team, go to the next team, go to the next team. That's the way I do. But anyway, that's the way they do it. And Sorsby will certainly be available once again he officially pulls out of college eligibility. I don't know what he has to technically do after getting the judges.
He's got to withdraw the lawsuit, which is he going to do.
Withdraw the lawsuit? Okay.
Then he's ineligible to play in college.
And then he has to be approved by the NFL for the supplemental draft.
Fleet Feet, that's the place to go to get all your running gear. Go see the folks at Fleet Feet either in East Memphis in the Laurelwood Shopping Center or out in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levy, right there next door to Huey's. You go in there, they take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, and they fit you with shoes that are just right for you, plus any other gear, everything else that you need. Heck, maybe it's just advice on training for races or just getting started exercising, running, walking, whatever it might be. Folks at Fleet Feet are there to help you with that. They are just all about the running community, all about runners. They've got group runs and other things that you can get involved with them. Just ask them at either one of those 2 locations. You can also get information online, fleetfeetmemphis.com, or through their social media about things that are going on, things that you can get involved with the folks at Fleet Feet.
When we come back, the numbers are in on the NBA Finals. We'll discuss that, plus what happened yesterday at the College Baseball World Series in Omaha. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis. Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
At Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, it's the Volkswagen Driver Days event, and it's drivers wanted. If you're looking for sporty, we Gossett 2026 Jetta S, just $249 a month, $249 a month for Jetta S. Luxury just got a new definition in 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS, now $269 a month. Brand new Tiguan S, $269 a month. And right now, Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike's got 2026 Atlas SE, only $329 a month. That's only $329 a month for a brand new Atlas SE. Ready for a new ride? We got you covered at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, 1875 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
That was TC 564,681, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312,217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895. Excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer in 6/30/26. Dealer stock only.
Memphis is a love song to soul and style. With the full suite of sought-after designers, brilliant natural diamonds, an elegant bar, luxury VIP lounge, and more, a trip to our store is an experience like no other. Just like the city we love. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience Sissy's for yourself. Memphis is our home, and we're your jeweler.
Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
I'm Ryan Saharovich with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we have fought for Memphis families and won big. If you've been injured, the call is free, and you don't pay unless we win. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Arthur texts in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255. Says he might come in with a clean slate, but he comes in tainted. When it comes down to it, you're taking a chance on anyone in any draft. Doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, again, I mean,
I agree.
That's why I don't think anybody would use a first round pick on him, and I don't think that anybody will use a second round pick on him. But again, I think once you get into the mid rounds, and others will look at it, and they'll throw out a later round pick just to see if maybe everybody else passes on him. But yes, any draft is a crapshoot.
Are people watching sporting events? You betcha. The official audience for the U.S. World Cup opening match, United States-Paraguay match, 27.5 million. That breaks the all-time record for U.S. soccer viewership. Again, that's U.S. soccer viewership here in this country, 27.5 million watching the United States pound Paraguay 4-1. Meanwhile, hockey had record numbers for the Stanley Cup Finals. The NBA Finals, the most watched since 1998. So the most watched series in this century just happened. Game 5, the clincher for the Knicks, peaked at 33 million. The average was 20.6, so that average was 7 million less than what watched the U.S. and the Paraguay soccer match, but that's a one-game thing. This was a series and still averaged 20.6. So good on the NBA. Nice to have the number one market involved in the NBA Finals. Nice to have New York.
Nice to have New York. And I don't know how it or why or whatever. I think it has something to do with streaming or whatever. But I mean, yeah, they are figuring these things out differently. And I think every sport in the last year, I think it's has had like their most watched whatever in like 20 some years.
So do you think it's just because the way they're calculating it, or are the viewing habits for people changing?
I know that's part of it. People that in the industry have said they are doing it differently. So there was always going to be an uptick, like there were in some of this in these things. So that, but people watch. I mean, we watch sports, and that's why the money for these television contracts continues to go up and up and up, because it is the one thing that that advertisers know people are watching. Live sports still do really, really well in this country and will continue to do really, really well. So with all of the other options people have for watching whatever show, and you can watch it anytime and not watch any commercials whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Live sports still plays well, and that's why they're going to continue to get massive television contracts. And who knows when we finally reach the limit of what they're willing to pay for them, but we haven't gotten there yet.
We're going to talk Grizzlies NBA draft with DeMichael Cole at 8:05. In the meantime, yesterday, you may have seen this, J-Ham, The Ringer put out their top 100 NBA player list for June, updated in the month of June. This is not an all-time thing. Only 2 teams did not produce a top 100 player.
Who are those?
Sacramento Kings and the Memphis Grizzlies.
This is current active players.
This is active players. So John Morant did not make top 100. By the way, Jaren Jackson Jr. for Utah, not top 100. But two former Grizzlies, and of course Jackson a former Grizzly as well, but two former Grizzlies did make the list. Des Bane and Dylan Brooks. I don't have the list in front of me, but Des was somewhere, I think, in the 30s, like 33. And I think Dylan was somewhere in the 50s, maybe like 54. Top player was SGA, then Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, 5. Anthony Edwards, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kawhi Leonard, Cade Cunningham, Steph Curry. That was your top 10. Speaking of the NBA, Brian Windhorst had the story yesterday that the negotiations have started between LeBron and the Lakers.
He's actually the number one free agent on the market for this summer, too. So I was looking at that. I got this from Mark Stein yesterday. He was saying that free agency may become a thing of, like, not so much anymore because teams may not invest as much into free agency. They'll just operate it and move around with trades.
Right.
And I can kind of see that coming about, especially just trying to stay up underneath that second apron and the whole deal. So it's going to be interesting going forward just to see how teams are constructed.
It's interesting with LeBron and the topic of LeBron because I know that there was the story, hey, maybe Golden State's in the mix. First it was Cleveland, the return to Cleveland for the Swan Song. We don't even know if this is the Swan Song. Now the narrative is he going to wait for the other kid? What's the other kid's situation? Do we know?
Bryce is still at Arizona. He redshirted last year, so I guess he'll be on the main roster this year.
I mean, again, probably not NBA material, but is LeBron going to hang around for that? All I know is this. LeBron James was not retiring at the end of last season because LeBron James, to me, seems like the kind of guy that wants everybody to know when he's retiring. And he's going to go through that whole thing. They're going to give him the keys to the city when he makes the last stop. I don't think he's going quietly. So it's not a surprise to me. And it's not a surprise, again, that he'd want to stay in L.A. Everything's out there. That's where he lives, his companies, Hollywood. It's all there. Not that San Francisco would be that far, but I don't see it. I never thought.
They also can't pay him. The Warriors and the Clevelands and that they can't pay him anything.
Yeah,
like
but
they have no cap, whatever. Like he would have to take like a veteran's minimum deal.
Okay.
To go to those places.
But the Lakers, who can pay him the most, are not about to go bankrupt paying LeBron James this year at age 40. What is he now? 42?
41. He'll be 42 in the season.
That's why there's an actual negotiation. It's not just a simple, here's your max deal. Like there has to be a negotiation that makes sense. But those other teams can't pay him anything. Like they're way over. Like he would have to be taking like a veteran's minimum to go to those places.
Right. But I mean, the conversation was just a couple of days ago, Golden State was a possibility. Well, again, yeah, it would be nice, I'm sure, for him. He wants to play with Steph Curry. And I don't know what his relationship's like with Luka. It seems like it's a pretty good relationship. But never for a second did I think that he would retire, and never for a second did I think he'd leave L.A. And like you said, he'll give him the most money, but they are not going to give him. I would be stunned if all of a sudden you see, $55 million for LeBron. It's not happening now, even though he still has a lot of skills. I mean, his talent, I don't want to use the word diminish. It's gone down a bit, but he's still, what would you say, Jay Ham, top 30 player?
Oh, yeah, no problem there. I mean, it's just the fact that it's like you just said, it's not going to garner the salary that he would probably try to command.
Right.
It's not going to be good for that. And it's not going to be conducive to anything that's trying to win. So it's really not really worth it.
Well, that's the thing. That's what, and they talk about like with the Lakers, the whole thing is like they have to show him, all right, we're giving you this much less money but here's what we're using that money on. And if he's sold that, all right, well, if you're going to use that money and he thinks that's good enough, then okay, then I'll take less money if you can do that to make the team better.
But what's his choice? If you're telling me nobody can pay him around the league, what's his choice? He's got to take what they give him.
Or go home.
Or go home, and he's not going home. I don't think he's going home. Hey, everybody, June is all about baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and a new All-Star Chevrolet. Staycation or vacation begins in Olive Branch. How low can your payment go? Come to All-Star and see what 0% financing for 5 years on all these new Silverados will do. Why? Well, your good credit deserves it, first of all. Military and first responders, you always get an extra $500 bonus. All-Star Chevy has pre-owned makes and models for any budget, priced in the 10s, the 15s, and the 20s. Or go big with a Tahoe, a Traverse with third-row seat, Corvette Stingray, pre-owned Silverados. For all your commercial and fleet needs, All-Star Chevy is the top-rated business elite dealer. Express cargo and express passenger vans are here. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Get the most money for it today. So together, let's drive. Don't miss the best sale of summer event. It's going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. Online at allstarautogroup.com. DeMichael Cole joins us to open up Hour 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you're still using a sports book to bet on the soccer tournament, you're getting robbed. Delete that app and join the millions using Polymarket. Polymarket's a prediction market, not a sports book. You trade against other fans, not the house. Polymarket, your go-to prediction market for soccer's biggest stage. Available in all 50 states. Download the Polymarket app, use promo code CORNER to unlock $50 free for your first trade. That's promo code CORNER. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility apply.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. If you were anywhere in the Mid-South lately, you felt it. High winds, hail, and storms rolling through hard. And here's the truth. If your roof took a hit, you may not see it yet. Hail and wind damage shingles can compromise your roof, opening the door for water intrusion. And once it gets in, the damage spreads fast. Ceilings, walls, insulation, even mold. That's why the sooner we inspect, the less damage you risk. Right now, Metro Builders has teams all over Memphis performing free inspections, handling same-day repairs, and providing emergency water mitigation services if needed. We'll show you exactly what we see, document everything, and help you take action before a small problem becomes a big one. Don't wait until you see water inside. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717, or book your inspection online at MetroBuildersMemphis.com. That's Metro Builders Memphis. We don't just build, we build world class.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good morning. Starting a little bit heavier over here, pretty much on schedule. We've been working for the last couple of weeks on I-40 in both directions. There around Watkins, just up to that 101 connector there. As it gets a little bit heavier through Midtown now on 240 North here at Lamar. It's only going to pick up even more on 240 around Mill Branch here in the next few minutes. Hey, bridal season is here. Shop local at Reimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with John Harden, weekdays from 11 to 1.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
back. Welcome in if you're just tuning in. It is time for Hour 2 of Sports 56 Mornings, the Wednesday, June 17th, 2026 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, they're located at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Get your summer ready by heading over to Family Leisure. Currently 73 degrees. It'll warm up to 92 today. The humidity comes back. Partly sunny. There will be a little bit of a breeze. And then tonight we're looking at pretty much the same. Breezy this evening, otherwise partly cloudy and very humid. The rain is in the forecast for tomorrow more than likely, with a high percentage of thunderstorms possible, but it's not going to be an all-day affair. And then as we hit the weekend looks to be delightful right now, at least on this Wednesday, looking ahead a few days. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. They're your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. A piece of fine jewelry is the gift that lasts forever. For anniversaries, for birthdays, for graduation presents, Christmas presents. Obviously, if you're getting hitched, those beautiful diamond engagement rings, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets, it's all available at James Gaddis Jewelers. Gifts from $100 to thousands of dollars. Great value, great customer service, great reviews. Check them out. The staff is second to none. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, closed on Sunday. Located in the heart of East Memphis at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Time now to talk to DeMichael.
2 watches, that's 12. Come through and slam on you. I'm in the air. Before it's all said and done, let me
It's time to talk some Grizzlies basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is DeMichael Cole, Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. Here's DeMichael with Greg and Eli.
He is DeMichael Cole. He is indeed the Grizzlies beat writer for the CA. He is also the co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at DeMichael C. He's with us each and every Wednesday. Good morning, DeMichael.
Good morning, fellas. How we doing?
Good. Just, getting tired of talking about speculation, rumors, and my gosh, I mean, every second. It's so funny, as you know, you're on the internet, and I'm talking about people that are locked in a bit, not just Joe Q Public. And it's like 1 second it's this guy wants to play for this team, and then the next dude, like a couple of sentences down or a couple of tweets down from a different person, this guy doesn't want to play for this team. It's just, I know the smoke screens are up with all the teams. I don't know if you just should take everything with a grain of salt. But you at the CA have written a story about what you're hearing about the draft, what you're hearing about Ja Morant. What do you want to share?
Yeah, as far as new information goes, we've learned about a couple new workouts, as of late. You still haven't got the top guys in there. I know those are the names that people are waiting on, like Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, and AJ DeBence. I don't think any of those guys are going to work out for the Grizzlies per se. But Baba Miller, the big long forward out of Cincinnati, he's early second round type choice. He just recently worked out with the Grizzlies. The biggest one to date probably is Bennett Sturts. I mentioned in the story, Iowa point guard. Was a big part of that run Iowa went on this season. One of the top point guards in the country, and projected to be a middle of the first round pick. So could be a guy the team looks at number 16. He just worked out with the Grizzlies as well. So as far as projected first round picks go, depending on what projections you're looking at. So Bennett Sturts, Koa Pete, and you can throw Joshua Jefferson in there. Those are probably the ones who worked out for the Grizzlies, who have first round appeal that I can personally confirm. So that's kind of where we are on the draft workout front.
We've talked about in the past, obviously, the grouping of point guards that's up there in the top 10. Let's say at 16, let's say the Grizzlies stay at 16. Let's just pretend all 4 of these guys were available. Sturts, Philon, Anderson, and Okuri. Which one do you think the Grizzlies would go with out of that group? Which one would you like to see them go with out of that group?
Man, if you put Philon in there, I'm gonna go Philon. But he's the one who it's hard to see him making it to 16. The most. But I think the Grizzlies with this pick, you got to prioritize the creativity part more than anything else. So that's why my second option is probably the most surprising. And to explain it a little bit further, like Christian Anderson to me, after Philon, he's probably the second best one because he has some skills that are very translatable to the NBA. His 3-point shooting and his playmaking. I know those are going to translate at least decently well, right? He really stood out at Texas Tech in that area. But the thing is, he's a little bit smaller, so you wonder how much he's going to be able to showcase, just those skills. But with Abuka Okori, 6'1", 6'8" wingspan, that's probably going to play well. The shot creation is up there. When you get to that second tier of point guards, when you get after those first group of guys, and depending on where you have Philon, like Abuka Okori, he gets he can make some things happen with the ball in his hands. And when you look at what the Grizzlies don't have, right? They got a bunch of point guards. You got a bunch of guys who can start the offense, but what are they lacking? Like, they got some guys that can shoot it. Ty Jerome can fill it up. Scottie Pippen Jr. has been a scorer his whole career. College, high school, but wherever Scottie Pippen Jr.'s played, he's been a scorer. But you don't have guys who, in my opinion, you trust as 3-level scorers, game on the line, give them the ball, unless you want to group John Moran in there. But 3-level scorers, game on the line, give them the ball, and let them go win it for you. Philon and Abuka Okori both have that type of capability. And to me, that means they present something different. They can be something different that you already don't have. Not to take away anything from Bennett Stearns or Christian Anderson, but they have, some skill. Like Christian Anderson, I just talked about the 3-point shooting, right? Javon Small shot over 40% from 3-point range this year. So I'm asking myself, hey, if you get Christian Anderson, how much better? Like, is it going to be a huge difference from him to Javon Small to where you can really say, hey, this pick was, this was a valuable pick for us. I don't know if that's a big enough difference. Whereas you could convince me, at least with the opportunity of drafting Philon or Abuka Okori, the creation ability and things like that you're going to get something different.
And the reason, because I'm with you, like, to me, I mean, I would love for Philon to make it to 16. I don't know that he will, but the latest ESPN mock draft, they actually have the Grizzlies taking Anderson with Philon going next. So having Philon on the board at 16 and the Grizzlies taking Anderson, to me, if Philon's there, I would 100% would take him over those other guys.
Yeah, but what you're saying, it's not just ESPN. There's some other places as well. Christian Anderson,
he's getting a lot of buzz. Anderson is definitely getting a lot of buzz.
He's getting some buzz, and it's warranted. Like I said, he has. When you talk about these point guards, you say who has skills that are just easily translatable to the league. This dude is a great playmaker, and his 3-point shooting, he has range. Even his first season at Texas Tech, when he didn't have as big of a role, he still shot the ball extremely well on good volume. I think he has skills that are just very translatable to the league, and people are kind of buying on those things.
Okay, so what happens if they do end up with Darren Peterson? And I've been one since day one that has cautioned people, don't be surprised if Boozer's taken. And there's nothing that says he will be, but there's a lot of people now looking and putting mock drafts together that has Boozer going 1 or 2 and leaving Peterson for the Grizzlies. If the Grizzlies were to get Peterson, how would it shift their mindset, in your opinion, as far as what they do at 16 or try to move up for, I would assume, a big?
You get Peterson, you have the chance to win the draft, in my opinion. You have the chance to acquire multiple starters. Whereas if you get Boozer, you get, a future really, really good basketball player. But the difference is when you get to the second tier of the draft, right? The Grizzlies are at 16 right now. Let's just say 10 to 20 because they may trade up. When you get to that 10 to 20 range, look at the power forward spot. You got some Yaxel. I think that's a potential starter. I'm not saying he's an all-star, but that's a potential starter. Hans Steinbeck, that's a guy that can be, super talented. freshman out of Washington. That's a guy who can be a starter. I wouldn't be surprised if Morez becomes a starter. I think he's more kind of like that Brandon Clark in a role, in a way, that energy big coming off the bench, making a change. But Morez wouldn't surprise me if he becomes kind of a starter type player. And so when you look at that second tier of power forward, then you look at the second tier of guard, or you look at the second tier of wings. There's a little bit more trust in the position of power forward, in my opinion. I think the depth there, the quality of the depth. So that's the thing where you talk about Cam Boozer or Darren Peterson. Sure, I know, like you said, you talked about it. Like, there's a little bit more trust, maybe the word, with the idea of drafting Cam Boozer. But then when you get to that next pick, there's a bunch of names on the board that you have to consider, because I don't trust the guard as much as I trust those three power forwards that I just named. I don't trust the wings. I mean, other than Cameron Carr, he's the only one in that group. Like, I think Braden Burries will be a good player, decent player, but I don't see the upside there. Then you got like Dalen Swain. I'm not a huge, he's not really a good shooter. I'm not really a huge fan. He can get to the cup, but you got to shoot in the league. So I feel like the idea of drafting Darren Peterson, it really allows you to just focus in. Like you said, you got to get a big, but it allows you to focus in on addressing that 4 spot. And when you get to that second tier of prospect, I think the 4 is the safest spot you can go with.
So you believe then, I would imagine, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but a Peterson / Morez Johnson draft is better than a Boozer Philon draft?
I think when you put those two, pretty tit for tat. Because Philon, I don't expect him to fall there. So if he falls there, it's like you get the best, of that situation.
Okay, put Anderson in there then, DeMichael. Put Anderson. A Boozer Anderson, or a Peterson Morez.
Give me Peterson Morez all day.
Okay.
Peterson Morez all day in that case. But if it's the other ones, I'm not even thinking about it. If it's the Axel or if it's Steinbach, I'm not even thinking about it that much.
Okay.
What do you think about? Again, he's still young and he's still raw, but Cenac.
Man, I like him, but I understand that he's not a next year player.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you're gonna have to be patient with. He's probably gonna come down honestly, and if he comes to Memphis, it might be a little bit of time spent with the hustle.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like, he's 19. He's super talented though. And that's why I think I've talked about the idea of taking him in the past, because look, I'm really big on if a guy comes to college as this super high prospect, and then the numbers at the college level, and it's only 1 year, like we don't have multiple like decent years. So if there's one just decent season and he's still best on himself to go from, I'm a lot of times, depending on what happens and what it looks like, I'm willing to take that bet, because what happened? What changed? Was it the situation? And sometimes you can win, and sometimes you see why they didn't have a great year. But in the case of CNAC, like this, I always remind people, this was the top 5 projected pick coming into the season. There was no doubt about it. It was Cam Boozer as the big, and then there was Chris CNAC. And then there was, all those guards mixed in there all over the place. Darren Peterson, AJ DeVanza. CNAC was over Caleb Wilson on a lot of these mocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that where his value was before the season. And I remember talking to him in Chicago, and he talked about, I planned for Houston and getting that tough coaching, down there. It humbled him. He said there were so many days I wanted to leave, right? Like, he didn't want to be there some days, but that's what he asked for. He asked to play for, Kelvin Sampson. That's one of the toughest coaches in America. He's going to call you out. And he had to buy into it. So I think there could be some growing pains, but the talent is there.
Yeah.
The guy, again, he has the ability to shoot it, put it on the floor. He can play the 4. He can play the 5. You're just going to have to be a little bit more patient. So if you're looking, and again, let's circle this back to what we were talking about weeks ago, guys, when I was saying this draft is about taking the big swings betting on upside. He played into that for me because if you go again, your first pick, to me, Darren Peterson or Cam Boozer, both are pretty surefire to be really good basketball players as long as they're on the floor. Cenac is a guy, like, I'd be willing to take the risk. If you say, hey, I have 3 guys I like that I hope to make the 16, and none of those 3 guys make it, and you're like, we can't trade down, let's go get Chris Cenac because the talent is there.
And again, it's not like the Grizzlies. I mean, you're not expecting to compete for a title next year. Like, you can wait a couple of years for him to develop and hope he becomes what you think he can become.
Yeah, to me, you can look at it almost like an insurance policy, in terms of, hey, we got Zach Edey. We expect Zach Edey to turn to this, but what if he doesn't? What if the ankle injuries start to, I don't know, take a toll or whatever? And it's like, okay, now you have a guy like Chris Cenac waiting in the wing, watching, developing, and then next year he's ready to kind of, step into a bigger role.
I know the roster's jammed packed and they'd have to do some maneuvering. And I think a lot of people, including Eli, and I've said it too, I'm not sure what you think, Michael, that they probably will end up only drafting 2 and not drafting all 3. But if they do keep the 32nd and they use it, and let's say they get Boozer, who is a power forward, I mean, bringing in a little help for Edey is not a bad thing with Edey's injury problems the last couple of years, and a Terrace Reed kind of falls into that category. I wouldn't mind them having some insurance.
They need it. It's about Edey, but it's also about depth. Like, they don't have, you look at the roster right now, they don't have centers. They just don't. So, you definitely need the insurance for Zach Edey, but you need what if Zach Edey gets 2 fouls in the first 4 minutes of the game? Who are you turning to? Are you just going to go small, or you need that option? So I think that plays a role into it as well. So look, it's a situation that I think when you talk about center, they have to address it in the draft. If they don't address it in the draft, they 100% will in free agency. But I think they'd much rather kind of get this out of the way and get ahead of it in the draft.
All right, and then lastly, Ja, what do you got? Anything?
Oh, well, I keep, when we talk about this, it's like you almost got to become a Milwaukee Bucks reporter too, because everyone I talk to about this is that it's like the Giannis front kind of shapes everything. And look, I thought Ja was going to be traded before Jaren too. So anything's possible. I'm not ruling anything out. But at the same time, the feeling that I get is everyone's waiting to see what's going to happen with Giannis. There are certain teams, like Miami, for example. Miami wants Giannis. But Miami would be okay with getting Ja too, only if they don't get Giannis. So, there's certain situations like that. You got to wait and see what happens on the Giannis side. The Giannis side clears up. I think that kind of opens everything up for what potentially could be there for Ja. So, to put it simpler, I think, things are moving. People are talking and whatnot, but it's something that I fully expect to kind of play off of the Giannis situation.
All right, fair enough. Next time we speak to you, round 1 will be in the books. We'll be getting ready for round 2. That'll be next Wednesday. Make sure to keep up with everything draft-wise, Grizzlies-wise, NBA-wise with DeMichael Cole at The Commercial Appeal. He's also the co-host of the Locked On Grizz podcast. You want to check that out as well. And follow him on Twitter at DeMichael C. Listen to him every Wednesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thanks, DeMichael.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. It's going to be fun. I'm sure a guy like DeMichael, who covers the team every day, if we're fed up with this and tired of it, but it happens every year, I'm sure he is too, but you have to come up with something and write about what you're hearing and any kind of speculation out there. I go back to Milwaukee. Yeah, as we've talked about, Giannis is going to set the tone and kind of the domino effect. But do we know about his relationship with Taylor Jenkins? I'm talking about Ja. If Milwaukee would be in the mix for Ja if they trade Giannis and look at possibly bringing in a guy like Ja. Does he and Taylor still, do they have a relationship? I don't know how it ended.
I don't know for sure what that relationship is like. I don't know. Milwaukee getting rid of Giannis, I don't believe would be. I guess part of it depends on what they get back in the package, but I wouldn't see them being in the Ja market without Giannis.
Okay, but yeah, my point is that if Taylor and Ja ended on a sour note, there's no way Jenkins would want to bring him into Milwaukee. I don't think so. Even though the GM's making the calls, he's in consultation with the head coach. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, our man on soccer, Lawrence Dockery, will join us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Landers Ford in Collierville is celebrating America 250. During our Landers 250 event, we're out to sell 250 specially selected new Fords, even new Ford F-150s. Employee pricing for all, plus Ford retail bonus cash. $6,000 for new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT trims. $5,000 for new 2025 Ford F-150 STX trim. Or $3,500 for new 2025 Ford F-150 Platinum, Lariat, or King Range trim. That's right, employee pricing for all at the #1 Ford dealer in the Mid-South. Landers Ford in Collierville. Get started now with our Landers Easy Pass at LandersFordMemphis.com. New F-150s with employee pricing for all. Act now. 250 new Fords will sell fast. Give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report. Memphis Market. Employee pricing is a Ford A-Plan pricing program. U.S. residents only. Prior purchase is not eligible. Other exclusions may apply. See dealer for complete details. Price plus tax, title, license. Offer includes $695 processing fee. Offer ends 7/6/26.
It's time to get your backyard ready for the ultimate pool party with a little help from Family Leisure. If you've been sitting on the fence about taking the plunge with a pool, now's the time to take the dive. You want an above-ground pool? Done. Starting at $39.99, and that's with installation. You want an in-ground pool? Take your pick. They start at under $50,000. Accessorize that pool with a patio furniture set starting at just $9.99. Outdoor sectionals? They start at $12.99. In fact, all in-stock patio furniture sets are priced to move. And with select patio furniture sets, you'll get a free umbrella and base. Okay, you aren't looking to get into a pool just yet? Family Leisure has hot tubs that start at just $34.99. Get in shape or stay in shape with a swim spa starting at $16,999. Get your backyard, front yard, side yard, whatever, ready for fun. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, for family and fun come together.
Marty McNate's on vacation, but passed along some exciting deals at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown's Volkswagen Driver Days event. If you're looking for sporty, we Gossett 2026 Jetta S. Just $249 a month. $249 a month for Jetta S. Luxury just got a new definition in 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS. Now $269 a month. Brand new Tiguan S $269 a month. Plus 2026 Atlas SE, only $329 a month. That's only $329 a month for a brand new Atlas SE. Marty McNate will be waiting for you at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road. Online, GossettVWG.com, and remember, your future's what you make it.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Atlas TC 564,681, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312,217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895. Excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer in 6/30/26. Dealer stock only.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good morning. We got a couple of accidents out here, still getting some attention, trying to get up through Midtown. Still has a little bit of volume on 240 North here up by Lamar. It's been busy at times, and actually for the last couple of weeks throughout the day, you never know what you're going to get over here with delays on I-40 around Watkins as they continue to work there around the 101 connector. Hey, bridal season is here. Shop local today at Weimer's Jewelry. You'll be glad you did because you'll save money at 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gotten onto the pitch at the World Cup, but they will do so today. And then tomorrow we'll get to second games for the countries as we'll start that run. But today you got Group K and Group L. You got Portugal and Congo DR in the K group, and Uzbekistan and Colombia in the Group L. Ghana and Panama, and England and Croatia. So 4 matches on tap today at the World Cup. Going to be tough to beat what we saw yesterday, which was just greatness from some of the great players of all time. It's been a great start to the World Cup, a great start for the United States, and they will get set to take on Australia on Friday. And we are joined now by our soccer insider, writer for the Beyond the 90, the host of the 901 Soccer Podcast with Bluff City Media, our good friend Lawrence Dockery, who you can follow on Twitter at LDoc93. Good morning, Lawrence.
Good morning, guys. It is it's quite the joyous time. We're only 6 days in, and I'm already running on fumes from doing these late night shows after these late kickoffs. Last night I decided, I'm not going to stay up till 1 a.m. to record a show at 2 o'clock in the morning. So we went to bed at halftime of the Austria game last night. But it's been a lot of fun. It has been everything we could have hoped for and more so far.
Well, last night was incredible. We'll get to that in a bit, but first of all, you had the question for Lawrence, Eli, that you asked me earlier.
Well, I've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
First of all, Lawrence, do you have any idea why it's called a brace when they score 2 goals?
No, I don't. I've always heard it called that, and I've always just rolled with it, but I've never actually stopped to think about why that's the case.
That's your assignment for next week.
Okay, I'll get right on it. I'll ask around in Atlanta tomorrow.
The other one is like right now is Messi the best player? Who is the best soccer player in the world right now?
Well, I don't think we can say that it's Messi because just because of his age, he's going to turn 39 like next week or something like that, and he's not doing it at the top of the European club game anymore. He's still every bit as awesome in MLS as he was in Europe, but obviously MLS is not Europe. That's not to belittle MLS the way that some people like to do, but it's hard not to continue to put him up there because every time you turn on the TV, he does something awesome. And, every time, you think he's not going to be able to do that, he goes out and does it. And, every time there's something that he hasn't accomplished, he goes off and takes the box and checks the box with the checklist and goes on down the road. Never had a World Cup hat trick before, went ahead and just got that knocked out of the way last night. As far as the best player in the world, I think maybe we saw them on display yesterday, and that was, I think you can make the case that it's Kylian Mbappe. I think you can make the case that it's Erling Haaland. And just like Messi, they both showed out and shined yesterday in a big, big way.
Who's the young stud on, I think it's Spain.
That would be Lamine Yamal. He's still only, I think, 18. I think he only just turned 18 years old, and he was probably their star player when they won the Euros back in 2024. They had, we're going to call it the upset of the tournament so far when they played Cape Verde because, yes, it ended in a 0-0 draw, and we all know how much we all love 0-0 draws. But that was a very exciting game. It wasn't a snooze fest by any stretch of the imagination. And for Spain not to win that game handily is a huge upset. Not only did they not win it handily, they didn't win it at all. And they didn't even score. And Cape Verde is a country with less than 750,000 people, and there's probably 10, 20, 30 times that living in Spain. Everything they touch in soccer in Spain turns to gold. I saw an incredible stat the other day that since they won the World Cup in 2010, Spain has only won 3 games at the World Cup, which was utterly insane to me. They 1 game in Brazil, 1 game in Russia, and 1 game in Qatar. And so we're 4 World Cups removed from their triumph, and they've only won 3 games. That's the exact same number of games in that same time as the U.S., which is incredible because the U.S. didn't even go to the World Cup in 2018.
So we're going with Cape Verde, okay? Because I read where it was Cape Verde, but if it's Verde, I'll change it to Verde. I didn't watch the match, that's why I didn't know the actual pronunciation from the broadcasters. But when I looked it up, everything said Verde. You don't pronounce the E. But anyway, I mean, don't believe everything you read, I guess, on the internet. Lawrence Dockery is joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. All right, United States looked fabulous in their win over Paraguay 4-1. What do you think? What did you think of that performance? Where does that rank in World Cup history for the United States as far as a performance is concerned? And then give us your thoughts on Australia and the United States on Friday. Of course, the Aussies knocked off Turkey 2-0.
Yeah, that U.S. game on Friday was watching the U.S. at the World Cup, I've never seen them play like that. I'd made the point a couple of times that probably what we needed to see from the U.S. was to do what Bruce Arena's 2002 World Cup team did in their opener against Portugal, where they scored 3 goals in the first 30 minutes and just absolutely threw haymakers and shell-shocked Portugal. Now, that game, way back in 2002, Portugal scored right before the half, and then they got a lucky own goal halfway through the second half. So the U.S. had to sweat that game out. That was not the case on Friday. Like, they came out with intent, they came out with purpose, and it looked like a team. Like, we've been hyping this generation of players up for 8 years, and at no point in the last 8 years have they ever come close to living up to the hype and to the moniker Golden Generation. I think when they were in Atlanta in March, I called them the Fool's Gold Generation. And Friday night was what we had all hoped that it would look like for some years now. Like, that was them playing up to their full potential. They didn't play down to their opponent. They went out there and they did what they knew they needed to do and what we knew they all could do. You get the ball rolling 7 minutes into the game with an own goal. Bowler Balogun has one called off for offside. Doesn't matter. Doesn't faze him. He goes and gets another one. Then he gets another one before the halftime. And that third goal was totally emblematic of why him picking us over England or Nigeria was such a huge deal. Because you look at the U.S. in the World Cup historically, A, we don't win a lot of games, and B, we don't score a lot of goals. And when we do, they're usually scrappy, strange deflections, lucky bounces, last minute, dramatic goals. That was an incredibly skillful, fantastic highlight reel goal that when you watch goal compilations from previous World Cups, that's the type of goal that Argentina or Brazil or Netherlands or France scores. And to have a player that can do that, U.S. players don't score like goals like that at the World Cup. So that was an absolutely huge deal. And then you get Gio Reyna gets the 4th goal, which is an incredible release for him, I would imagine, after all the BS he had to deal with in Qatar 4 years ago and all the BS he's had to deal with since then. It's amazing what happens when you put your best players on the field. Usually good things happen. One key point I thought was fantastic that I saw somebody make is the case of mistaken identity yellow card and the non-soccer fans getting to see somebody cautioned for a dive. I think was absolutely fantastic. And so everything that you could have hoped for that could have gone right against Paraguay went right against Paraguay. Now, Australia is I don't know what to make of Australia because, like Paraguay, they're a team that you played just last year, and you did beat them, but it was a very close game. It was a very physical game. It was an ugly game. It was a game where Australia took the lead on you before you had to come back and win the game 2-1. You mentioned they did play Turkey. That was a game where they sat back and just absorbed tons and tons and tons of pressure and picked their moments to hit Turkey on the counter, and they won 2-0, but they got outshot like 25-6. Or something crazy like that. So the book on this U.S. team until Friday night was that other teams will just let them have the possession because they can't do anything with it. They don't know how to break down teams that are packing it in. And that did not seem to be a problem for the U.S. on Friday night because Paraguay is the quintessential pack it in, make the game ugly kind of team. They were the best defensive team in South American qualifying throughout the entire cycle, and we broke them down like it was nothing. So hopefully we're able to do that against Australia. I know the Aussies have a little bit of extra motivation because they found some clips from some pundits about 6 months ago and are, all fired up about it because, they were like, Yeah, Australia should be a win for the U.S. and the Aussies have decided that is like the peak of
bulletin board material.
Bulletin board material, yes. So they'll come in with a little bit of extra juice, but if the U.S. plays like they did on Friday, I think it's tough to see them not winning the game.
Obviously, there are the ones that have not. There are some that have not played yet, but with most of the teams now have played their first match. Which team has had the most impressive performance so far?
Well, I think you have to go us. You have to go Argentina, and I can't quite get to saying France just because they were so lackadaisical and lackluster that first half, but I think that's just because they could be. But I think us and Argentina looked really good. Germany, yes, they scored 7 goals, but it was against Curacao, so I'm not gonna go, off the deep end or anything with them. But yeah, in terms of best performance, I think right now that's just us and that's just Argentina. Mexico did, they won their opening game 2-0, but they wasted a lot of chances. They had a player sent off and shown a red card. So for me, the best performances thus far, the U.S. against Paraguay and then Argentina last night against Algeria.
And then, Lawrence, off the pitch, I'm sure that you're online and you're seeing all these videos of fans, international fans that have come to the country to watch the World Cup. And again, the World Cup, it's North America, so you have matches in Mexico and you'll have matches in Canada, but most of them, as you mentioned last week, are in the United States. But these tutorials, these people just having the times of their lives. We're on the cusp of our 250th birthday as a nation, and these people are singing our praises better than we do ourselves. It kind of gives you pride I think it certainly gives you pride as an American, but it also means that we're putting our best foot forward as far as the World Cup.
Absolutely, and that is one of my favorite things about this tournament thus far is the number of people that have come here and are completely and totally embracing everything American culture. From the dude, the German guy that's running around and he went to the Argentina game at Auburn and he stopped at Buc-ee's and he's eating at Waffle House, gone floating down the Chattahoochee River. And just for me, I was up close and personal with the Japanese and the Netherlands fans in Dallas on Saturday. And that game so far is probably the game of the tournament for me. But the Dutch fans, there were probably 20,000 of them with their double-decker bus partying outside of Jerry World. The Japanese fans, there were probably, I'd say, 35 or 40,000 of them. And I was not familiar with their game day routines, but they brought the noise in there at Jerry World, and it got loud. There were some Dallas media people who said they hadn't ever seen the stadium like this for a Cowboys game. But to your point, all of the people coming here and enjoying the U.S. and all of the Americans enjoying everybody coming here. I think there was a different German guy who's been bebopping around up in Chicago that went on CNN and was like, look, you hear a lot of negative stuff if all you do is watch the news. But since I've been here, everybody has been super friendly and super helpful, and they've been nothing but nice. And I love doing this, and I love going here. And I think that's fantastic. And I think the perfect crystallization of all of that is at the Netherlands-Japan game on Saturday. Before the teams came out for warm-ups, they played the U.S. national anthem. And at the end of it, all of the Japanese fans and all of the Dutch fans all stood up and cheered the U.S. national anthem, which I thought was just absolutely fantastic. So you can look at all the local news stations from all these World Cup host cities and all of their interviews with all of these people. Everybody's having a good time. The Scotland fans have completely taken over Boston in the best possible way. They took over Fenway Park. They had 15,000 people from the Tartan Army in there at Fenway Park the other night. I saw a news clip from Boston that one of the bars in downtown Boston, the day of the Scotland game, tripled their business from what they normally do on a St. Patrick's Day.
Shocking.
Which is probably one of the biggest holidays in Boston. Kansas City is in love. Like, they've got 4 teams doing their base camp in Kansas City, and the only people that aren't having a good time is the English, because the English have their preconceived notions and think they're the only country in the world that's allowed to do anything related to soccer. So, but with the exception of the English, everybody that's come here has had a marvelous time. They're completely and totally blown away. Like, all of the Argentina and Algeria fans went to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City last night and thought it was the eighth wonder of the world, which is hilariously ironic because that's a stadium that's 50 years old and is about to get blown up in a couple of years.
Right.
Wait till they see the new one.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like Jerry World was Saturday was my first time at Jerry World, and it was like, okay, this place is different.
Yeah.
And so everybody everywhere is having just an absolutely grand old time. And it sounds cheesy to say, but I've said it again and I'll keep saying it. Like, that is what the World Cup is about. Everybody coming to whatever the host country is and really enjoying the host country, and the people of the host country embracing and welcoming the people who've come to visit.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one other question: the Norway, their little the fans, their celebration, is just like rowing a boat. Is that all it is?
That is what it is. You know, if you think back, the Norwegians have a great sailing tradition going back to the time of the Vikings. You know, freighters, shipping, that sort of thing. There's even a cruise line called Norwegian Cruise Line. I don't know that they're necessarily headquartered or operating out of Norway, but yeah, the Norwegians have a great sailing tradition, and I was unfamiliar with their rowing celebration until probably the middle of the day yesterday. And I saw a video, and we're talking about all these fans doing all these crazy things, and they were on the escalator on the way to the train station or whatever, and they were all sitting on an escalator, which I thought was absolutely bizarre. And they were like rowing up the escalator. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah, and all the cops are embracing things, and they're dancing, and they're, nobody's making a big deal of it, or if they do something like that, sit on an escalator. Usually it'd be land-based. I mean, it's been perfect so far. I know we're only a week into it. We got a long way to go. Hopefully that will continue. Of course, Lawrence is headed now to Atlanta for another match. He'll be back with us next Wednesday to update everything that's happening at the World Cup. Make sure to read him at Beyond the 90. You can also listen to the 901 Soccer podcast on Bluff City Media. By the way, Lawrence has also been a soccer referee for 20 years. You can follow him on Twitter at LDoc93. He is our soccer insider. He's Lawrence Dockery. Thank you, my friend. Safe travels to Atlanta.
Yep, thanks.
Take care. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, folks, for lunch or for dinner. It's always a great option to get that delicious slow smoke barbecue at Corky's. They've been doing it for 40 years. They've been catering for that entire time as well. You have an event coming up, no matter how large, they can take care of it for you at Corky's. Starts you out as low as $7.99 per person. Now, if you want delivery, they can deliver to your home or office in the Memphis metropolitan area. $3.99 local delivery. That's the set fee for that delicious barbecue. When you head over for lunch or dinner, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. When you purchase your entree, you can get party packs that start at just $7.99. Located at Goodman Road in Olive Branch, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Poplar Avenue in Memphis, and Poplar Avenue in Collierville. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. What's happening in Omaha? The latest on the College Baseball World Series when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If wedding bells are in your future, you need an unforgettable engagement ring from a jeweler you can trust. And that's been James Gaddis Jewelers for over 60 years. With a huge selection and the best prices, James Gaddis is a master jeweler and diamondologist. Beautiful jewelry from James Gaddis is always the right choice. Choose from rings to earrings, necklaces to bracelets, and gemstones to watches. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, online at GaddisJewelers.com and Instagram at Gaddis Jewelers. Say I do at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. If you were anywhere in the Mid-South lately, you felt it. High winds, hail, and storms rolling through hard. And here's the truth. If your roof took a hit, you may not see it yet. Hail and wind damage shingles can compromise your roof, opening the door for water intrusion. And once it gets in, the damage spreads fast. Ceilings, walls, insulation, even mold. That's why the sooner we inspect, the less damage you risk. Right now, Metro Builders has teams all over Memphis performing free inspections, handling same-day repairs, and providing emergency water mitigation services if needed. We'll show you exactly what we see, document everything, and help you take action before a small problem becomes a big one. Don't wait until you see water inside. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717, or book your inspection online at MetroBuildersMemphis.com. That's Metro Builders Memphis. We don't just build, we build world class.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
At Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, it's the Volkswagen Driver Days event, and it's drivers wanted. If you're looking for sporty, we Gossett 2026 Jetta S. Just $249 a month. $249 a month for Jetta S. Luxury just got a new definition in 2026 Tiguan 2.0 TS. Now $269 a month. Brand new Tiguan S, $269 a month. And right now, Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike's got 2026 Atlas SE, only $329 a month. That's only $329 a month for a brand new Atlas SE. Ready for a new ride? We got you covered at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, 1875 Covington Pike, or shop online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Atlas TC 564,681, MSRP 41,911, Jetta TMO 312,217, MSRP 25,791, Tiguan TMO 43,763, MSRP 32,881. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must be financed through Volkswagen Credit PF 895. Excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer in 6/30/26. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Let me correct one thing I said earlier. The Warriors actually could offer LeBron a little bit more. They could offer him a mid-level exception. They could offer him $15 million. Because with Porzingis' contract off the books next year, they fall below the luxury tax.
Maybe that's why they were the other team that was in discussion. Who knows? I mean, the guy's got more money than sin, but maybe it's all about the money, that it's disrespectful if it's a lower offer. And like you said, most teams can't offer him anything substantial, but the Lakers can. But I just don't think the Lakers will go overboard. Why would they? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, at the College Baseball World Series yesterday, 2 shutouts, but 2 different games. One, an absolute blowout. The other one, an amazing pitcher's duel. West Virginia shuts out Troy 12-0. That eliminates the Trojans, but Troy does pick up their first ever win at the College Baseball World Series when they knocked off Ole Miss. Georgia shuts out Texas 2-0, and those 2 pitchers that started that game were just one strikeout after another, just roaring back, throwing the arsenals of those pitchers, tremendous, but somebody had to lose, and it's Texas, and they're going home.
Yeah, their starter Luke Harris had 11 strikeouts and 5 2/3 again against the unbelievable offense in Georgia. Just a really impressive performance. Texas struck out 17 guys overall. Georgia struck out 12 guys. Georgia did have to go to the bullpen, or did go to the bullpen for the first time in the College World Series. They have now used 4 pitchers in 3 games. So they are still in very good position pitching-wise now with the tough task of having to win 2 in a row over Oklahoma. But if you're going to be, I don't think you could be set up any better pitching wise than only using 4 pitchers through your first 3 games.
No. Well, as you mentioned, so now the task is awfully tough for Georgia, but not impossible. They will take on Oklahoma, and they have to beat Oklahoma twice. So today will be the Georgia Bulldogs and the Oklahoma Sooners. It will also be the North Carolina Tar Heels and the West Virginia Mountaineers, and West Virginia has that same dubious task. They're going to have to knock off North Carolina twice. So right now, the Tar Heels and the Sooners in the driver's seat.
Yeah, a huge advantage of being 2-0. And both of those teams, normally those teams that are 2-0 end up advancing on into the final series. We'll see today whether either Georgia or West Virginia can at least force another game, a winner-take-all game to try and get into the final.
SEC's won 5 straight national championships or College World Series titles, and 6 out of 7. I know Mississippi State's won, Ole Miss has won, LSU's won. Has Texas hasn't won, right, since they've been in the SEC, have they?
No.
And Oklahoma hasn't?
No.
So it'll be a different team again.
If one of those wins it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they still have a chance. Obviously, the other side, it's going to be
Texas can't win it. Texas is done. But either Georgia or Oklahoma.
That's right, man. I'm sorry, Georgia. Georgia hasn't been one of those 5 in a row, right?
No. It's Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Tennessee, LSU, Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt was.
And who was the other one with its 6 out of 7? Was that a repeat? Was that LSU as well?
I'm not sure.
But the 5 in a row are all different. Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant to say Georgia. So Georgia or Oklahoma would be another new SEC team as far as this streak if they win it. On the other side, it'll be a non-SEC opponent, either West Virginia from the Big 12 or North Carolina from the ACC. Major League Baseball, we're getting closer and closer to the All-Star game. So now, when does the voting start? Has it already started?
Yep, they just released the first wave of votes the other day.
Okay. This is ESPN, and I'm not sure if it's Buster Olney or whoever. Is he even on ESPN anymore? This is David Schoenfield. And this is his predictions. These are his predictions for the All-Star game. National League, Drake Baldwin, Braves catcher. Matt Olson, Braves first base. Bryce Terang, Brewers second base. Max Muncy, Dodgers third base. Ellie De La Cruz, Reds shortstop. Outfield, James Wood of the Nationals. Corbin Carroll of the Diamondbacks. Andy Pages of the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, the DH of the Dodgers. And Jacob Mizorowski, starting pitcher for the Brewers. What do you think? Obviously, there's a lot of competition. I mean, Jordan Walker, if he's not elected and he probably, or voted in, I mean, God, the year he's having, he should absolutely be a reserve. In fact, as far as the reserves are concerned, he is listed. Jordan Walker, among others, Juan Soto, Pete Crow, Armstrong, Kyle Schwarber, Nolan Arenado, the former Cardinal, Bryce Harper, Hunter Goodman, as we talked about the other day, the Memphian. His American League predictions, Christopher Sanchez, starting pitcher, Phillies. Then he has, let's see. No, sorry, that was reserves. I was looking at reserve pitchers, which is Sanchez, Skeen, Sale, Yamamoto, the usual cast of characters. His starters for the American League, Shea Langoliers, Athletics catcher. Ben Rice, Yankees first base. Ernie, is it Clement or Clement? Blue Jays second base. Clement. Jose Ramirez, Guardians third base. Bobby Witt Jr., Royal shortstop. Then outfield, Cody Bellinger of the Yankees. Mike Trout, who hit another home run last night. Great to have Trout right now, knock on wood, injury-free. Byron Buxton, who's having a huge year for Minnesota. Yordan Alvarez, who's been great for the Astros, DH. And then Cam Schlittler of the Yankees. Say that fast 10 times. Starting pitcher. Reserves, Dingler of the Tigers, Dylan Dingler at catcher. Adley Rutschman of the Orioles. Kurtz of the Athletics. Duran of the Rangers, Caminero, Tampa Bay, McGonigal of Detroit, Montgomery of the White Sox, Julio Rodriguez of Seattle, Abreu of the Red Sox, Green of the Tigers, and Diaz of the Rays. With some of the pitchers that he thinks will make the team include Joe Ryan from Minnesota, Shea McClanahan from Tampa Bay, Nick Martinez from Tampa Bay, Jose Soriano from the Angels. Anything that you see that's glaring?
No.
I think absolutely Jordan Walker will be on the All-Star team. Alec Burleson's got some big numbers, but do you see anybody else from St. Louis?
I'd have to look at some of the pitching numbers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he listed a pitcher, but he's still got a ways to go before the voting's done, and then we'll see what happens once the vote's complete, how the skippers look at their reserves and who they want to put on those teams. We'll take a break. Hour 3 on the way. That'll include Matt Enfield, who'll join us at 9:30. He's headed to New York for the Yankees ticker tape parade. I mean, the Knicks, not the Yankees. The Knicks ticker tape parade, which will take place tomorrow. We'll talk to Matt about that. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Your home is your best investment, so why not make it the best it can be with help from Gates Lumber? Start with your front door, serving 2 purposes, curb appeal and security. Gates has solid construction doors built for security, durability, and beauty. See and compare wood, steel, and fiberglass options side by side at Gates Showroom. It's easier to choose when you can see and touch real doors with real assistance from knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right door for your home and budget. So don't just replace your door, upgrade your protection, and Gates Lumber is the right choice. Family owned and operated, serving you for over 100 years with free estimates, free delivery, competitive prices, and quality products. Call 901-942-3201, go to gateslumber.com, or come by their showroom, 1253 South Bellevue Boulevard. Gates Lumber, celebrating over 100 years with a passion for craftsmanship since 1920.
You know that feeling when something is supposed to be complicated and then it's not? That's the Dobbs Brothers way. For your new Chevrolet, there's no games, no runaround, no surprises. Just straight answers from people who actually mean them. Buying a car shouldn't feel like a battle. And at Dobbs Brothers Chevrolet, it doesn't. Trust, transparency, and driving our community forward. That's the Dobbs Brothers way. Shop Dobbs Brothers Chevrolet of Bartlett today.
Hello, I'm Ford Canale of Canale Funeral Directors. For more than a century, the Canale family has been honored to serve Memphis families during life's most difficult moments. In fact, Canale Funeral Directors is proud to be the oldest continually operating business in Memphis, built on a tradition of compassion, dignity, and personal service. When a family places their trust in us, we understand it's about much more than arrangements. It's about celebrating a life, honoring cherished memories, and providing comfort when it's needed most. Whether you're planning ahead or facing an immediate need, our experienced and caring staff is here to guide you every step of the way. From our family to yours, thank you for allowing us to serve generations of Memphis families with the respect and attention they deserve. Canale Funeral Directors, quietly caring since 1843.
It's time for fun, family, and fabulous prizes at the 68th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 21st through June 27th. For almost 7 decades, the Hole-in-One has raised thousands of dollars for St. Louis School and other Memphis children's charities, and your help is needed more than ever. On select nights, golfers will have a chance to win $25,000 toward a city auto vehicle purchase, then a chance to win $1 million the final night. Plus, there are cornhole tournaments Dance nightly, kids carnival rides Friday and Saturday nights, children's golf Saturday from 2 to 4, and new this year, wiffle ball at 6 p.m. nightly. There's something for everyone at the biggest party of the year at St. Louis Church, 203 South White Station Road. The 68th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 21st through the 27th. Fun, family, and fabulous prizes all week as you help raise funds supporting youth programs at St. Louis Church. This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Well, good morning. A couple of accidents in the rapid stages. Still a bit more volume in the last 10-15 minutes westbound I-40 coming in from Fayette County here into Shelby County, passing Chambers Chapel, Canada Road. Now, 385 Bill Morris Parkway has definitely gotten a little bit heavier in the last 15-20 minutes as you come off Bill Morris on to 240 there up by Mount Moriah. Hey, be sure to check out the animals that are available for adoption at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Go to their website, memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 9:05, hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg, Eli, and Jay. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. 76, but feels like 87. It's going to get to 92 today, so very hot and humid, although there will be a little bit of a breeze. Tomorrow looks like it will be a rainy day, 88% chance of thunderstorms, although we will see the sun. The weekend looks to be very delightful right now with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Coming up in hour number 3, Matt Infield will join us at 9:30 from Action News 5. Proud fan of the New York Knickerbockers, and on his way to the big parade tomorrow in New York, where I would imagine, Eli, everyone will be on their best behavior.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure nobody will be drinking.
No, drinking not allowed at the celebration, the parade. Sad news from the world of music. I'm sure there's Chicago fans out there. You're from the Chicago area. You a fan of Chicago, the group?
They're fine.
I've seen them probably like 8 times. One of the founding members, Walter Parazater, has died at the age of 81, complications from Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed, I think, 5 or 6 years ago and left the band. And right now there's only one original member, but I think he's only the second one that has passed away. Terry Kath, who people who know Chicago, passed away early with the playing Russian roulette or whatever the hell he did, or trying to clean a gun and killed himself accidentally. Although there's some conspiracies about that, but Walter Parazater dead at the age of 81.
So this was brought up to me last night. I had not thought of this. If the Grizzlies do draft Cameron Boozer, and Ja is not traded as of draft night, you know what number Boozer wore at Duke is number 12. So when they have the press conference for Cameron Boozer, now maybe he doesn't want to wear number 12 in the NBA. Maybe he would maybe he'll go with like his dad's number or something like, I don't know. But if he does continue to want to wear number 12, but Ja hasn't been traded yet when they have the press conference the day after he's drafted or whatever, what jersey do they give him at that point?
Number 1.
Number 1. The default number 1. We could have 2 of those situations too, because AJ DeBanter says if he's in DC, he wants number 3. And Trae Young is number 3 always. So we could have another situation, a number there.
Of course, there's rumors now about Trae Young.
I saw that. Yeah. He
possibly being traded. I don't know. I think you just avoid any kind of, you certainly don't put up a 12. You don't put him at 12.
Don't put up the blank
Well,
jersey
here's
either with no
the
number.
thing. Like in the
And
press,
don't put up Brandon Clark's number. What did Clark wear?
15.
Yeah,
in the
don't
press
accidentally put up
conference,
15.
he's going to be. I'm sure he's going. Somebody's going to ask. Are you planning on wearing number 12?
Yeah, the same.
And then it's going to be. Well, we'll have to look and see the availability of that. We don't know if that'll be available or not.
Because Carlos wore 4 at Duke, and he wore 5 pretty much in the league. So who knows?
Yeah, another thing, like maybe Cam will try and wear his dad's number. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why he wore 12 at Duke.
He said, I plan to wear 12, but you know that's who? Who? Ja Rule? Who are we talking about here? What about Peterson? What numbers Peterson wear? Remind me.
Peterson wore 3 at Kansas. What number is he?
Anybody?
He missed so much we can't even remember.
I know. I don't even.
I don't ever pay attention to numbers really. And
He was a number 3 too, though.
no, 22.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Do we have a 22?
No, not since Rudy
Was
Gay.
Bain, right? Was Bain 22?
He was.
Yeah,
22.
Bain. Yeah, Gay and then Bain.
And Bain.
But I don't think. Yeah,
I don't think there's a 22 now.
I don't believe anybody wore 22.
Would you
this
pay
year.
big money to buy the number from a player if you had to, or would you just get a different number?
I probably would just go with an alternative number.
So would I.
Even though,
as much as I want
have
20,
my
Taylor Hendricks wore 22 this year.
Okay.
When they acquired him.
So Hendricks wore 22.
It depends what your connection to that number is. If it's something you've worn your entire life,
I
like
can
you might want to.
understand that.
But if it's again, Boozer may have no connection to the number 12. It just may be the number he got to Duke. He may have no care in the world about the number 12.
Right.
I don't know, but he may be there may be a reason he wears it and he's very connected to it and would really want it here. But again, it just depends on what your connection is, how long you've worn it, and also how much money you make. How can you afford to buy that number from somebody?
Okay, so have your guys' thoughts on the pick at 3 swayed any with all these stories about Peterson and he only worked out or visited? I don't even know if these guys even worked out, but Washington and nobody else. And then the stories even out of Utah that they really like Boozer. In other words, do you still think in your minds, because you know it's never been in my mind that it's signed, sealed, delivered Cam Boozer at 3, do you think it's still Boozer, or do you think there's a chance that somebody takes Boozer, whether it be Washington or Utah, and Memphis ends up getting Darren Peterson?
I mean, it's a realistic chance to end up with either of the 4, just depending on how people feel. And a lot can change between now and 6 days. So I think it's still a good chance that Cam will be here, though.
Could the Grizzlies take Wilson over Peterson if it was down to those 2?
They could if they liked him more. I mean,
if they're dumb.
I knew he was about to say that. He was going to go, if they're idiots, but he went to dumb. He went a little bit lesser of a sting, dumb than idiot. Yeah, I think look, if Boozer's available, they're taking Boozer. You could take that one to the bank, put it away for future generations. There's no way they're passing up on Boozer at 3, in my opinion. And there's no way Utah will let DeBonsa go by them to 3 or 4, whatever. DeBonsa's going 1 or 2. I am sold on that, but I'm not sold on Washington that could surprise and take Boozer, or they take DeBonsa, and then instead of taking Peterson, Utah still takes Boozer, even though they have a plethora of bigs. Now they got the impasse with Walker Kessler with the money right now. I know they want to keep him, but he wants a lot more money than they offered, according to reports out there. Of course, they have Jaren Jackson Jr.
He's a restricted free agent, so he's
I want to do so much.
They've got him by the old, you know what?
Yeah.
By the shorts.
Unless he could find some team to offer him so much money that they just can't match it. But
they still have Markkanen, right? They can move Markkanen, possibly.
No, Danny Ainge is putting together something, to really compete. He's not just, going for the tank on it.
Okay, but no, you're right. I agree with you 100%. And there's always been that question of need versus best player available. And I always hear people saying, no, it's got to be best player available, best player available, best player available. But if you have a plethora of bigs and Boozer's available, and every time I read something or we have a guest on the show, we had Chip Williams on yesterday, It's always Boozer.
Oh.
Boozer. That's why I posed that question on Twitter yesterday. Is he the best player available, or did he have the best collegiate career? Because if he's the best player available and it is best player you want to take rather than need, then why wouldn't Boozer go 1 or 2? That's what
because not everybody's board is the same.
So I'm just saying, why wouldn't it be? Why?
Because some people don't think he's the best player. Like,
that's what I mean.
Teams have different opinions of players. Like
that's what I know. I understand that. I'm asking this rhetorically. That's, to me, it's like, if you think the guy is the best player out there, then why wouldn't you take him first? You would take him first, I think. And if Utah has him penciled as maybe 2, they had DeMonsa 1, and they have him over Peterson, even though they have all these bigs, why wouldn't you do it? See, that's when need starts to pull into this thing, into the equation. I still think need's a little bit, if the players are all even, then you got to look at need. It's foolish not to look at need.
Yeah, and they do.
Because I think they can get in this situation. Of course, Danny will make his pick, and then he'll make some other move trade-wise after it.
Sure.
Involving some of the bigs that you were saying that he already has.
That's what I'm saying. I think Markkanen could be on the move. That's why I'm thinking
a possibility.
That's why I'm thinking Boozer may not make it to the Grizzlies, and I sure hope he is. I know you love Peterson, Eli. I love Boozer.
We would have a much better gauge if we knew what these teams' general plan was and how they wanted to construct. Then we could. But this is the guessing game and the fun part of it.
Right, and the Grizzlies sitting at 3. I mean, even though it's a great position, and they are in a great position, they have to have basically 2 plans of attack. Right, 2 plans of attack.
I would say at least 2. You probably won't have, because you never know what might happen and transpire throughout the process.
You're right.
Of the draft.
It could be more than 2. The reason I say 2, in my mind, is, again, DeBonsa's off the board. Mm-hmm. I think 100% he's off the board. I think Wilson is 4 out of the 4. So that, to me, then comes down to Peterson or Boozer. If you land Boozer, you're landing a 6'10" big. If you're landing Peterson, you're landing a premier shooting guard who could also handle the ball. And now you got to figure out what you're going to do at 16. What players are you targeting on if you want to try to move up? Because now you're going from a big to a guard. So it's like, to me, it's like 2 major plans of attack to have. But you're right. It could be multiple. They could be looking at Wilson higher than I think. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, any of those top 4, if they went outside those 4 guys, would be a shocker.
Yeah.
Would be a stunt. As good as I think Hayden Cuff will be. And others think Brown will be good. Others think Wagler will be good. Some think they'll all be good. But to go out of the top 4, DeBonsa, Boozer, Peterson, Wilson, would be stunning. And I can't wait for like something like that to happen and there's somebody to say, I knew it was going to happen. I knew they were going to happen. Nobody. Everybody and their mom has said, those 4 guys, and you pick your order, are the first 4 to go. And I believe that will be the case.
Yeah, I mean, the top 3 were all set before the season, before the college basketball season. Like, those 3 guys were, I mean, Peterson and DeBonsa especially, and then Boozer was, but because of what the high school career and everything Boozer had, like, those 3 guys were set. Wilson put himself into it was a big 3. Wilson, with what he showed, made it a big 4.
Well, did you buy what Chip Williams said yesterday? If Quaintance didn't get hurt, that he had him number 2.
I mean, certainly he did that. I mean,
it's one guy's opinion, but
maybe teams would have looked at it. But I mean, before the year started, I think there was a widely shared opinion. Darren Peterson was the best player. AJ DeBonsa was probably number 2, and Cameron Boozer was number 3.
Yeah,
that was the win that I got with it.
And I don't think. Again, other than, I mean, I know Peterson with the cramping and all that stuff. That's the only reason. Like, if Peterson had sat the year out, not with injury, just not played,
wouldn't even bad.
He would be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, because he wouldn't have had a bad narrative.
Right. Everybody has always thought Darren Peterson is the best player in this class.
Right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that's why, again, please, one of you top two take Boozer. Please let Darren Peterson fall to the Grizzlies.
Well, it would be apropos that Peterson falls to the Grizzlies. They pick him. He gets hurt.
Or he plays 80 games. Just on a flipper reversal, you know.
Well, maybe he would change the luck. But again, as far as I know, they still haven't done the voodoo magic.
That's why I was about to say this is post-exorcism that I'm talking about.
We got to get the exorcism. I don't know why nobody has gone forward to try to do the, get somebody to do the exorcism over there. Catholic priest or whoever else does it. Voodoo master. I don't know. Somebody has to get over there and do something with the sage and all that stuff. I'm not going to be doing it.
The one thing too, I don't remember who was yesterday that brought this up. That one of the issues apparently that Peterson, I don't know if it's that I can't remember. I don't know if they were saying like this is definitely one of, or if they were just guessing that one of Peterson's issues with Utah is he's represented by the same people as Keontae George.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
And George is going to need a new contract after next year. So his people don't want him there because that's one of their guys is limited. They're like, wait, we need Keontae George to be that guy to get us a new contract with him. And if we bring Darren Peterson there, that certainly is going to take minutes and reps away from Keontae George. So it's very much could be his people saying, we don't want both these guys on the same team. That does us no good.
Something to think of.
And then it will put them in the same room and play them against each other.
Now again, Utah might say, we don't care.
Yeah, right.
They said it last year, but Ace Bailey, like, we don't care. Like, what you want, we will draft you. If they think he's the best player, they'll draft him. They're not going to care about that. And they'll worry about Keontae George later. But they're not going to worry about what his people want.
But as you said, that is a team that is accumulating some nice pieces.
And he's put a winner together before, so.
and I look at the Grizzlies and I go, I don't know how.
I mean, if you had Darren
Peterson,
Peterson,
can become competitive in 2 years, but I hope they can.
If Ace Bailey turns out to be anything what he's supposed to be, and he showed certainly some signs this year, Markkanen, Jaren, Ace Bailey, Darren Peterson, and then if you do bring Kessler back,
it's a problem.
I mean, and then you got a guy like Keontae George off the bench. Like, I mean, goodness gracious.
Right. That's even a problem for the people in San Antonio because they can get physical with that.
I mean, that's not I mentioned, like Filipowski and some other guys who certainly are capable of giving you minutes and being a part of the rotation. John Conchar? No, I don't. I'm going to guess that John is not long for Utah. But no, I mean, that is a squad they are putting together.
Yeah.
He's a player's player, though. He's good in the locker room. John Conchar.
Yeah.
He's great in the
have
locker
a little
room.
jig.
And he produces every time he steps on floor. That's why he will continue to be in the league. Like, teams will want him.
Nothing else. He is going to rebound the basketball.
If he's retired, he should be a rebounding coach.
If he's like your 13th guy, like, why not? Like, like I said, he's not ever going to cause an issue in the locker room. And he is going to, if you put him into games, he will produce.
Yeah. How is it possible that guy, undersized, goes in there every time and gets you 6 rebounds? Like, every single time.
Because he tries.
If
you're willing to try to get rebounds in the NBA, you can get rebounds.
And then if you got your timing right off the bounce, there you go.
And maybe a reason why Jaren Jackson Jr. did not make the top 100 of the Ringers.
He wasn't eligible for that top 100 because of his injury. Guys who are out for the year are not part of that.
Oh, okay. I thought, they're dissing. I thought they're dissing Jaren Jackson Jr. For goodness sakes. One other thing, right off the beaten path here, but do you think, J-Ham? Okay, it's kind of crazy, but it's out there that Spike Lee deserves a ring.
Yeah, he deserves one.
Okay, so let me ask you, then what about all the dudes that are sitting in the second level that have been there for 40 years as fans?
Say not Spike. But Spike is an ambassador of it as well. They really Spike and Patrick should be, well, Patrick is an ambassador for the Knicks, but Spike should be considered one too.
They're already giving, I've already read that they're giving Pat Ewing and John Starks rings.
Yeah, well, Pat is a current employee of the Knicks.
Okay.
So,
is John Starks?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I swear I read John Starks. I'm like, okay, I love Spike Lee like the next guy, and he has spent, I think they said, upwards to like $350,000, $400,000.
40-year season,
whatever it is.
older.
But I'm just thinking about, how about Joe Q Public over there in the third section, who has been a fan for 50 years? Does he deserve a ring?
They didn't travel to Indiana when things got hostile back in 93.
We don't know. Maybe they did.
I don't think they were with Spike, though.
They weren't with Spike. No, they weren't. They weren't chauffeured over to the arena. I'm just thinking, does he is a fan. He is a legitimate, diehard, 100% fan, and I'm happy for him, and he deserves all the accolades. I'm just curious about that. I bring that up because after the break, we'll have Matt Infield on, who's a diehard Knicks fan, does not deserve a ring, by the way. But I just saw that story about that. What do you think?
100% Spike Lee should get a ring.
So does Tracy Morgan deserve a ring?
No.
Does Timothy Chalamet deserve a ring?
Spike Lee puts the Knicks out there more. Like, he is truly an ambassador for the team. Like, he's been doing it forever. Like, he is associated with the Knicks.
For what? And I don't think the Lakers ever gave Jack one, but he's every bit of what Jack was is for the Lakers.
All right, fair enough. Folks, Shoot 360 Memphis. If you're looking to get your shots up, you're looking to become a better all-around basketball player. This summer when it's hot as heck outside, you don't want to be out there at the schoolyard trying to get your shots up. Go inside, indoors, 72 degrees, beautiful facilities at Shoot 360 Memphis with 2 locations in Collierville, the original at 85 Market Street. You can call them at 901-316-5500. Or in Cordova, Big Orange Road, 901-779-3176. Call them. They'll answer any questions you have. You can set up a tour. You can also just show up and they'll give you the tour of the facilities, find out more about what they have to offer. It's a revolutionary basketball training facility. It combines the cutting-edge technology, second to none, gamification, so you're going to have fun while doing so. And then you get the instant objective feedback with hands-on one-on-one expert coaching, coaches that have been at every level, including the NBA. But when you step inside one of those shooting bays with the Shoot 360 technology, you get analytical information fed at you right after every shot. It is a really cool thing. I've done it. It's fun. You'll have fun as well. And now you can join on a monthly membership basis. Again, you can't beat it. You're not bogged down with some long-term contract. Say you sign up for a year and you don't like something. You can't get out of it. Or you maybe get out of it with a penalty. Here, you just sign up for a month. Try it out for a month. I'm telling you, you're going to fall in love with it. It's Shoot 360 Memphis. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. Action News 5's Matt Infield is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
It's time to get your backyard ready for the ultimate pool party with a little help from Family Leisure. If you've been sitting on the fence about taking the plunge with a pool, now's the time to take the dive. You want an above-ground pool? Done. Starting at $39.99, and that's with installation. You want an in-ground pool? Take your pick. They start at under $50,000. Accessorize that pool with a patio furniture set starting at just $9.99. Outdoor sectionals? They start at $12 $12.99. In fact, all in-stock patio furniture sets are priced to move. And with select patio furniture sets, you'll get a free umbrella and base. Okay, you aren't looking to get into a pool just yet? Family Leisure has hot tubs that start at just $34.99. Get in shape or stay in shape with a swim spa starting at $16,999. Get your backyard, front yard, side yard, whatever, ready for fun. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Old Dominick Distillery is pouring Memphis pride into every cocktail. From the winning atmosphere at its downtown Memphis distillery to award-winning craft spirits, Old Dominick is pure Memphis spirit through and through. Swing by the distillery bar for a pregame cocktail or celebrate your wins with a guided tour and tasting. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:29 the time. Final 31 minutes of our Hump Day edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Again, tomorrow is going to be a real busy show. Steve Sands is going to join us from Shinnecock. Shinnecock is the host site of the U.S. Open. We'll have Austin White, who's the project executive for the MFA program management, which is the folks that are overseeing the construction of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We'll have Kerry Miller on. Carly Lyons will join us from the Memphis Grizzlies, all coming up on the show tomorrow. But right now, it is time to talk to a proud New Yorker. A native New Yorker, but he's also a proud Memphian now. We call him ours. He is Matt Infield, the weekend sports anchor reporter for WMC Action News 5. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Matt_Infield. And you got to be as happy as a little girl. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, man, feel pretty good. Definitely something that I kind of stuck in. I will be, obviously I told you I'll be in attendance at the parade tomorrow. I think it'll really sink in then. So yeah, pretty cool for sure.
What's the game plan? Because how many people are they expected to be on the route, and where are you going to position yourself?
Good question. Well, first the game plan is, I'm on Long Island, as close to New York City as you could be on Long Island, but I'll be up at the crack of dawn or something close to it. Catch a train to the city. It's like half hour to Penn Station, and then I'll meet up with some friends. Basically, all my friends that I'm meeting up with live in the city, so kind of wherever they tell me to go, I will go. God, how many people? I mean, a city of 8 million people in a metropolitan area of I think 20 million, and a lot of them are very juiced up for this. I have no idea. I was actually at the Giants parade in 2012. I'm not a Giants fan, but I was a senior in high school, and I used it as a good excuse to get out of school for a day. And that was pretty wild. And that is not a city that unites New York the way the Knicks do. So I'm preparing for it to be absolute madness, but embracing it all too.
So was the plan all along to go to the parade if they won it, or was this kind of a, hey, well, maybe a once in a lifetime chance?
So actually, I was rooting for it to happen on Saturday night because I thought that the conflict could arise where if they won, Game 6 would have been last night, which if they would have won at the Garden, it would have been crazy. But I don't know if I would have been able to make that happen. And funny enough, when I saw Thursday, I was like, it's cutting it close because I'm calling the Hound Dogs game on Friday night. But Thursday, I'll fly in. I'll fly back in fly in today, parade tomorrow, fly back into here Friday just in time. But yeah, short of something I could absolutely not get out of, I was going to fly up for this because hopefully it's not the last time it happens in my lifetime, but it is the first time that's happened in my lifetime. And I know that these are really hard to to see and even harder for the team to achieve. So, yeah, barring something I just absolutely could not get out of work-wise, I was always going.
Well, you're young enough where 53 more years, you'll probably still be on the earth, so you might be able to enjoy it again. But Matt Enfield joining us from Action News 5. He's joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. So I just looked this up. AI tells me the largest sports parade ever held, 2016 Cubs World Series victory, where it was estimated that 5 million people were there. I am going to bet this blows it out the window. I think it'll be more than 5 million.
Yeah. And again, the Cubs are wildly popular in Chicago, but again, you have a second team in the city that to some degree divides baseball fans in Chicago. I am telling you, man, this is going to be unlike anything that New York has ever seen because however you want to divide up the pie with the rest of the team. You got the Yankees, yeah, guess what? You've got a lot of Met fans as well. You've got the Giants, you have a ton of Jet fans in New York, even to an extent. The Rangers are like New York City's team, and the Islanders are obviously more Long Island's team, but you got a lot of Islander fans as well. Brother, ain't no one care about the Nets enough to divide up the city as far as basketball in New York. We are all Knicks fans up there. So, yeah, I would take the over on that 5 million, probably relatively comfortably.
Yeah, in Chicago, the White Sox divide the baseball fans from the idiots and the non-idiots. That's the idiots are all White Sox fans. It's very simple.
Hey, Eli, be careful. The White Sox look pretty good this year.
I don't even know what you're talking about. They don't exist. So you were, when I had you on before, when the Knicks had made it to the finals, if I remember correctly, you thought they had a pretty good chance if they played the Spurs. But the way the series played out and they fell behind early and then made these amazing comebacks, like how surprised are you in the end that they wrapped it up as quickly as they did, knowing they trailed by double digits in every game?
It's interesting because kind of my thought process in why I wanted San Antonio instead of OKC, even with the potential injuries to OKC, basically played out to a T, and that basically all the dumb stuff that the Spurs did late in games, I was pretty confident OKC was not going to do, just because obviously they had won the championship last year and had been through some real playoff wars in the years before that. So, I hear Victor Wembanyama, who got his public perception took quite the 180 in this series. He'll bounce back, but definitely some rebuilding to do. But when I hear him say that they dominated for most of the series, well, I mean, you dominated the first quarters in these series for sure.
Right.
You definitely didn't dominate the second half of these series. You definitely didn't dominate the fourth quarter of these games. So if you would have told me Knicks in 5 before the series, I would have been mildly surprised. But the way that it happened, in basically it was 5 close games, and the Knicks made all the winning plays, which, again, is a testament to, I think I mentioned this, Eli, I mean, these guys went through it in the playoffs the last couple of years. Eastern Conference Finals with Indiana last year, the year before that. Like, these guys are as battle-tested as it gets and as resilient as you're going to find a team with all the fourth quarter comebacks, all the crazy comebacks in the playoffs the last couple of years. Think about games 1 and 2 at Boston last year, down by 20-plus in both of those games, and they win. So, in essence, my theory on why I thought the Knicks had a better chance against the Spurs instead of OKC played out to a T. The way it all happened was pretty wild. The scripts of the game were nuts, especially Game 4. But that came to fruition, basically. You had a team that had never even made a playoff run as a core before in the NBA Finals for the first time against a team that has been through some wars in the playoffs the last couple of years. I think ultimately that was the biggest difference.
Jalen Brunson will never have to pay for another meal, another drink at all the rest of his life. We were talking about this yesterday, Matt. You've probably been asked or maybe even thought about it, but the New York Mount Rushmore, and not before like this century, because your mind would be hurting thinking about all the great New York athletes for the last 150 years. But I'm just talking about this century. Most people believe Jalen Brunson now on that Rushmore with Eli Manning and Derek Jeter. Do you agree with those three? And then who would be your fourth as a New York guy?
That's the question. I think Eli's got to be up there. I think Jeter's got to be up there. Jeter's interesting because Jeter, had a lot of his accomplishments in the late 90s as well. I mean, I know he played well to the 2000s, but the Yankees won 3 of their 5 World Series that he won before 2000 and 2009. Yeah, Brunson's a lock for sure. Does it have to be a hockey player?
It could it could be anybody. But I mean, a lot of people think it should be Mariano Rivera.
I could see Rivera. You could probably also, he hasn't won yet. I think that as far as pure player, you'd probably make a pretty good argument for Aaron Judge.
That's what I said.
Eli said
I said, as far as individual accomplishment, he hasn't won a title, but as far as individual accomplishments, the dude's done more than most.
Yeah, I mean, Judge is one of the great power hitters of all time. And you start asking yourself the questions, what would his career look like if he broke in earlier because he was an older prospect? Yeah, even though he hasn't won a ring yet, and he is a bit of a notorious playoff flame out at this point, I think I'll give the nod to Judge by a hair. Mariano's a good argument, though.
So have you bought any championship gear?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because these numbers are insane.
The commercial comes on right after the last second comes off the clock, right, J.M.? And Matt's already dialing in.
The funny thing is, the official merch, and this is the only real beef I have, and if this is the only complaint with winning a championship, you're in good shape. The official shirt that they were wearing afterwards, I wasn't a huge fan of. But, I mean, there are so many options now. Someone sent me a link, and they're like, hey, this is some good stuff here. So I bought a shirt and a hat. I actually had a friend who I'm going to the parade with tomorrow. At last check, he was online at MSG to buy some gear. He asked me if I wanted anything, but he told me it's nothing like MSG exclusive. So I told him, I was like, nah, I'll just buy everything online. So shirt and hat down, and I have a feeling there's more to come. Take all my money. Take all of it, merchandise sellers.
In the first 24 hours following the clinching win, they set an all-time Fanatics merchandise record for any championship team ever across all sports.
Jeez.
And
I mean, listen, man, like, this championship, I don't think about it. Like, every championship is special, but there are some that kind of resonate and make a mark in society at large more than others. And this is certainly one of them. For the fact that it's New York, it had been so long, they've been such a joke for so long. Someone brought up yesterday, it's kind of, you think about the fact the NBA's only been around since 1949. This is probably as close to the NBA is ever going to get to a Red Sox breaking the drought, the Cubs breaking the drought. Obviously, Red Sox was, 86 years, the Cubs were 108. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
The NBA doesn't have the longevity to have an insane streak like that, an insane drought, but 53 years for a league that's only been around since 1949 for an iconic franchise that was dormant for so long. Yeah, this one hits a little bit different for sure.
And not the championship, but just the finals merchandise doubled the previous record in sales.
Already.
I believe it, man.
Already.
I believe it, man. Listen, for a lot of reasons, the NBA could not have done much better with both the final setup in terms of the matchup and then the result. I mean, you get the Knicks winning, they break the drought. I think that, honestly, I got to give them a lot of credit, too. I understand why people outside of New York don't like them or the fans. I mean, I feel the same way about Boston and Philly fans, so I get it.
Easy,
but it feels like, hey, that's all love between me and you, I'm just saying. But it feels like the team itself is pretty universally beloved, which I think speaks to their character and the competitiveness and just the way that they found a way to win these games. I really feel like a lot of people across the spectrum, no matter where you are, really gravitated to this team in a way that I'm not sure I would have thought was possible for, both New York teams are pretty polarizing, but I think if you're not in Boston and maybe not in Philly, most people feel pretty happy to see this team win because of all the factors I just mentioned.
That's the thing, like with the idea that it's New York versus a small market in San Antonio. Generally, in sports, everybody would gravitate towards the small market team. And in this one, yes, the Knicks seem to very much be the sentimental
because
favorite.
The guys are likable. All those guys are likable. Yep. Mike Brown's likable. The owner's not, but everybody else is likable. Matt Infield joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. All right, so now, and you made a good point. Red Sox ended the curse. The Cubs finally got it done. Knicks get it done after 53 years. I don't know who the longest right now losing streak is, drought, if you want to put it that way, in the big four sports is. But as far as who's the next one that we're rooting for to win in any of the four sports? Like, is it maybe the Buffalo Bills? I mean, who?
I'm a Jets fan, so no, I'm not rooting for that. And that's just got me, man. I'm thinking really crazy now. I'm like, man, if the Knicks could get one, can the Jets get one at some point? I don't want to think too crazy.
Well, yeah, let's not get out of our minds.
You're right, but I'm telling you, rooting for them for the longest time was a parallel existence. They were the exact same team, the exact same laughing stock. So if the Knicks can get one, my mind is at least a little bit open that the Jets could actually get a quarterback at some point. Maybe it's possible. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'd rather just enjoy this right now.
Maybe it's Brendan Sorsby, by the way, Matt. Maybe it's Brendan Sorsby they end up getting.
Well, real quick, I would say the Jets should probably at least dabble with the idea, but I don't know that you could bank on anything as far as him being a long-term starter. Different discussion for a different day. I believe the longest route, if I'm not mistaken, is the now Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they
won since 1948.
Jeez, that's a long one. So that's one you got to root for, even though they changed their name.
Eli, you remember that was in 2016. Yeah. That was kind of the narrative. It's like, all right, the Cubs have
exactly.
won it over a century, but the Guardians also haven't won since World War II, basically. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anyone that's
and I'm not just thinking of the longest.
The longest ones are the Arizona Cardinals are at 79
years. Yeah, right.
Years.
They've never won one. Yeah.
Their last champions when they were in Chicago.
Jeez.
The Guardians 78, and then the Sacramento Kings are at 75.
Yeah, well, I don't want the Kings to win. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the one with the longest drought, but, I look at like a team like Buffalo. They haven't been around as long as the teams you just mentioned, but to go through 4 Super Bowls and lose them all the way they did in the 90s, I'm kind of rooting for them. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit.
You know what? I'll throw out one because there are also teams that haven't won championships. You know what? I'll throw out one that has never won a Super Bowl for sure. I don't even know if they've won an NFL championship even pre-Super Bowl. How about the Detroit Lions? Let's get them a Super Bowl.
That's a good one.
That's
a real good one.
I think they did win in titles way back before the Super Bowl.
Right, pre-Super Bowl.
But with Dan Campbell, I think there's a lot of people certainly that would like to see them win.
All right, Matt, before we let you go, and again, Matt Infield joining us from Action News 5, headed to the big parade in New York City, where he hopes he'll actually reappear back here in Memphis. Who knows? Might get swarmed up with a bunch of people, and then we'll never see him again. 2 things. You were at the Redbirds game, right? You saw Baez at 4 homers last night?
Yeah, so I dipped before home run number 4, but yeah, man, you know what? I think that it was so great that happened. I voiced my opinion on the comments made by Memphis City Councilman Chase Carlisle last week. That's all over my social media. I'm not running from that. So if you want my full opinion on that, go check out my Twitter.
You're
my Facebook page.
anti-pickleball. That's what you are.
So you dipped out before the 4th home run to go play pickleball?
It's not better than baseball. It's definitely not better for the city.
That's crazy.
Let's be real here.
I know. That's crazy.
But, this series against Nashville, who they're fighting with for the first half championship, first game after those comments, and the best prospect with the Redbirds right now hits 4 home runs. Man, I thought that was so poetic, so awesome. He's going to be really good, man. He's basically still here because they want him to cut down on his swing and miss, but he pummels the baseball. So, yeah, that was cool.
They deserve a lot of credit. That Redbirds team, as you just talked about, Ben Johnson, local guy, the way they're winning games. As you mentioned, Baez, and then Blaze Jordan gets called up, Crooks and Weatherholt. These guys all played in Memphis. So hopefully everybody will get their act straight, help out the Redbirds, and they'll be a mainstay for another 100, or
where are all the pro pickleball players coming out of here? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. They've been a mainstay for 25 or so years. Hopefully it'll be 100 more.
Hey, Mark Goodfellow will fight you on that.
Well, Goodfellow likes pickleball too.
He's a big time pickleball player.
Yeah, I know he's a big time tennis player. Last thing for you, as you mentioned briefly here during our discussion, you called a game recently, the first ever home game for the Memphis Hound Dogs, who play indoor football. And you do the games with Jeff Brightwell. What was that like for you doing that first game? I know you got another game coming up. Are you missing the game this Friday?
No, I will fly in. I'm flying Friday morning to make sure I don't miss the game Friday night.
I got you. I thought you said that once I opened my mouth. But what was it like for you, that first game?
It was cool. The broadcast, the production crew that worked on the broadcast, I knew it would be good. The vibe was good inside the Memphis Sports and Event Center. There are some things to button up as far as the presentation, and they know that. But man, it was a lot of fun. And week 1, if you watch, they played probably as the heaviest personnel Arena League team ever because they didn't have their full allotment of guys yet. And week 2, they show up with Donald Gray, who is a familiar name, I'm sure to you guys. White Station grad, played at Mississippi State. Kiwan Malone, who played for the Tigers back in the early 2010s, Miami Beach Bowl hero. All of a sudden, you get some good receivers and some speedsters. You're like, oh, these guys are pretty good. So yeah, it's fun, man. It's a legitimately. I'm not just saying this because I call the games. It is a genuinely entertaining product, and I think that the good thing that they're doing, because they can do it, is it is almost all Memphis area guys.
Right.
So if you want the sort of connection. You know, we can go on and on about like why the Showboats didn't work, but I think that a lack of connection to the community was one of them, just because the business model didn't really allow for it, which is fine, I get it. But the Hound Dogs, it's almost all either guys that played at Memphis or are from here, so you got that connection. Yeah, man, it's genuinely like indoor football is generally a pretty entertaining product. They had a buzzer beating win on the road last week, so now they are 2-1 atop the South Division. So, yeah, I think they have a chance to be pretty decent. So, if you need something to do Friday night, come on out. And if you just want to stay at home and watch, Jeff Brightwell and myself have the call on YouTube, and it should be fun as well.
All right, my brother. Have fun in New York. Have a great call on Friday. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you, Matt. Matt Infield from Action News 5.
Folks, you know about the great barbecue that they serve up at all the various central barbecue locations around town, whether it be the pork or the turkey or the chicken or the hot wings, which are absolutely fantastic as well. Well, now at the Central Avenue location at 2235 Central Avenue, they are serving up breakfast on a daily basis from 7 a.m. until 10:30 a.m., serving biscuits, breakfast, burritos, toaster sandwiches, and more. Go by, check that out. Also now at the Central Avenue location, a full bar with the OG bar that's open from 11 a.m. until close with signature drinks like their Tiger Margarita. You can find it all. That's at the Central Avenue location, the original. Well, of course, the brand new building, but the original location, 2235 Central Avenue in Midtown. For a great breakfast, go by, check them out at Central Barbecue.
You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback with hands-on one-on-one expert coaching. And now introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation size courts, 3 high school size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. If you were anywhere in the Mid-South lately, you felt it. High winds, hail, and storms rolling through hard. And here's the truth. If your roof took a hit, you may not see it yet. Hail and wind damage shingles can compromise your roof, opening the door for water intrusion. And once it gets in, the damage spreads fast. Ceilings, walls, insulation, even mold. That's why the sooner we inspect, the less damage you risk. Right now, Metro Builders has teams all over Memphis performing free inspections, handling same-day repairs, and providing emergency water mitigation services if needed. We'll show you exactly what we see, document everything, and help you take action before a small problem becomes a big one. Don't wait until you see water inside. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717, or book your inspection online at MetroBuildersMemphis.com. That's Metro Builders Memphis. We don't just build, we build world class.
Lenny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Hey Memphis, Kayla Clement from Memphis Softball. You work hard for your money, so choose a financial team that works just as hard for you. Southern Security Credit Union offers great rates, personal service, and a local touch you can trust. Visit southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900 to join today. Southern Security Credit Union, your home team credit union, is a proud supporter of the Memphis Athletics and 901 Women and is federally insured by the NCUA.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So now it's Matt Norlander who has his mock draft up, and he says, I'm taking the swing and saying Utah passes on Darren Peterson and selects Cameron Boozer at 2. Now a lot more people are saying that because they're jumping on the Greg Gaston bandwagon. No, they're smart. I mean, again, if he is, and Eli's right, every team is going to look at things differently, but it doesn't mean that the bulk of people that make these decisions aren't looking at Boozer and saying he is the best available. Why wouldn't we take the best available? We could always make trades. If Utah doesn't have a chance to get the Bonsa and Washington takes him, then why not take a guy you know you're getting probably a double-double or close to it every single game, could always trade one of your bigs like Markkanen. And with Peterson, you know, he could be great. He could also be, I don't know, injury-prone. Seems like he's a handful already. Only wants to talk to Washington, which I assume he's already done. So anyway, Norlander, O'Connor, all these guys now are starting to say this thing. I'm not saying 100% that's going to happen. I still would lean toward Boozer being there at 3, higher percentage. But like I've said from the get-go, don't be shocked if Boozer's not sitting there, because everybody was talking about Boozer in Memphis and how he'd fit in. Well, it may not be Boozer. And you're happy if it's not because you love Peterson.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
Mr. Peterson. Wasn't that from Ferris Bueller?
Anybody ever said it was a 100% done deal? It is the most likely scenario that they get Boozer.
Yeah, but people were talking early like it was a done deal, that those guys were the first two. U.S. Open begins tomorrow. As I mentioned, Steve Sands will join us during round 1 play live from Shinnecock. 654 players have teed it up in a U.S. Open at Shinnecock all time. 3 have finished the week under par. That comes from Justin Ray Golf. What? I know how hard it is, but are you kidding me? That's it? So how many U.S. Opens have there been at Shinnecock? Do you know?
I know 2004,
4 or 5?
2018. I don't know how many before that.
Okay. 3 have finished the week under par. So who do you think comes out on top?
Matt Fitzpatrick.
And give me another couple guys that people should keep an eye on, in your opinion.
Well, I mean, obviously Scotty Scheffler.
Right.
I don't think you can, certainly would go with him. I mean, I think Rory with the wider fairways, although, man, DeChambeau posted a video of trying to hit out of the rough.
Oh
there.
my gosh.
It is
break your arm.
It is crazy. It is absolutely nuts. But so you're going to have to be in the fairways, but it's wider fairways. That certainly helps out Rory, who's got obviously a track record. You know, I could see certainly a guy like John Rahm competing as well. I mean, the big names are usually going to rise to the top when it's a U.S. Open. That's the way it works.
Today in the action in Omaha, College Baseball World Series, North Carolina, West Virginia. If West Virginia loses, they're done. If not, they force a second game with Carolina. Oklahoma and Georgia. If Georgia loses, they are done. Again, if they win, they force a second game with Oklahoma, but they are the last 4 standing at the College Baseball World Series in Omaha, which every day I tune in and watch a little bit of a game or more than a little bit. Weather seems to be spectacular. Hopefully that will continue.
Shinnecock has hosted the U.S. Open in 2018, 2004. They hosted it in 95. They hosted it in 86, and they hosted it in 1896.
Oh, I remember that one very well. So that's this is number 6. You're scoring at home?
Yes.
6th time for Shinnecock, and 3 people have been under par after their 4 rounds. That's nuts. All right, that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank DeMichael Cole, Lawrence Dockery, and Matt Infield for joining us on the program. We're back tomorrow. Austin White, Steve Sands will join us from Shinnecock, Kerry Miller on Major League Baseball, and Carly Lyons will talk to us about some things happening for Grizzlies fans. That's all coming up on the show. We'll start at 7 a.m.
Those 3 players, by the way, Retief Goosen, Phil Mickelson, Raymond Floyd.
Raymond Floyd, one of my favorites of all time. We'll see if anybody can go under par this week. Again, the action begins tomorrow morning. We're back at 7 a.m. to start things off for our Thursday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. Once again, Landon Schmidt, Darian Newsom will be pinch hitting for Dave Woloshin. For Eli Savoy and Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Enjoy your hump day.